It's your under degrees. Sip with me. I'll pour it hot, so hot. I'll pour it sweet, so sweet. Spilling this tea, spilling and sipping this tea, spilling and sipping this tea. Thanks for watching me, tuning in, subscribing, hitting that like, smash that like. I don't bite, no. It's your under degree, feeling great, spilling tea. Have a seat and join me. Sip some tea, unwind with me. Let's grab a snack and talk some smack. I'm your girl, I got your back. I got the news, I got the views. I bet you can't wait, I know you can't wait to sip this tea. Sip this tea, spilling this tea, spilling and sipping this tea, spilling and sipping this tea, spilling this tea, spilling and sipping 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 this tea. Thanks for watching me, tuning in, subscribing, hitting that like, smash that like. I don't bite, no. It's your under degree, shining bright, set the stage. Hollywood dreams, red carpet scenes, glitter and glow, the secrets I know. Drama with flair, I serve it rare. I got the scoop, I got the proof. I know you can't wait, so come and escape and sip this tea. Sip with me, spilling this tea, spilling and sipping this tea, spilling and sipping this tea, spilling 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 and sipping this tea. It's your under degrees. Sip with me. I'll pour it hot, so hot. I'll pour it sweet, so sweet. Spilling this tea, spilling and sipping this tea, spilling and sipping this tea. Thanks for watching me, tuning in, subscribing, hitting that like, smash that like. I don't bite, no. It's your under degree, feeling great, spilling tea. Have a seat and join me. Sip some tea, unwind with me. Let's grab a snack and talk some smack. I'm your girl, I got your back. I got the news, I got the views. I bet you can't wait, I know you can't wait to sip this tea. Sip this tea, spilling this tea, spilling and sipping this tea, spilling and sipping this tea, spilling this tea, spilling and sipping 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 this tea. Thanks for watching me, tuning in, subscribing, hitting that like, smash that like. I don't bite, no. It's your under degree, shining bright, set the stage. Hollywood dreams, red carpet scenes, glitter and glow, the secrets I know. Drama with flair, I serve it rare. I got the scoop, I got the proof. I know you can't wait, so come and escape and sip this tea. Sip with me, spilling this tea, spilling and sipping this tea, spilling and sipping this tea, spilling this tea, spilling this tea, spilling this tea, spilling and sipping this tea, spilling and sipping this tea.
What's going on, Diamond Gang? Did you miss me? I'm back. I'm back with another war update. Shouts out to everybody that's coming through. Y'all know what to do. Hit the like. Shouts out to my beautiful mods. The rules are you can have an opposing opinion. You just can't be disrespectful. So if you don't agree with what I'm saying, you can clearly state your case in the chat. You just can't be disrespectful when you do it, or my mods will remove you. We got a lot going on. Once again, Trump tacoed. So yesterday was definitely Taco Tuesday. Um, Operation Freedom was shut down. It didn't even last a full 48 hours. So we got a lot of information to go over. Also, the feds actually raided a Virginia State Senator, L. Louise Lucas, which is a prominent Black Democratic lawmaker. And it's wild because Fox News was already on the scene. So somebody tipped them off. Somebody tipped Fox off, and we're going to get into that. She played a major role in the redistricting efforts that benefited the Democrats. So the feds came down on her. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and pull up my screen so we could get into it because this live is going to be a long live. Okay, this is big enough. Let me make sure my screen is big enough for everybody to see. All right, it's even bigger. Let's go, Diamond Gang. Please, please, please hit the like. It keeps me in the algorithm. Please and thank you.
Well, the entire process is a fraud. It's a lie. They claim that Epic Fury ended with accomplishing objectives. What objectives? Did they get regime change? No. Did they open the Strait of Hormuz? No. Did they destroy Iran's navy? No. Did they destroy their missile force? No. So they launched.
Bingo. Okay, we've been in this war, or like they like to say, excursion, for a couple of months now, and we have not completed not one objective. Not one. Trump is looking for an exit. He just don't know how to do it. He has no plan to get us up out of this.
Epic Fury and accomplished nothing beyond killing a number of particularly Iranian officials, and then the horrific crime they committed at the Medan school with at least 168 young girls that were viciously murdered. So now they've come up with another scheme. The Trump administration was.
Listen, the other night I asked y'all, did they do this Epic Fury? Not Epic Fury, excuse me. This mission, this freedom mission to guide these boats safely through the straits. Did they do this to escalate? Did they do this? Nope. I got another idea, and I brought it to you guys tonight. We'll get into it later.
Under the gun for the 60-day period of the War Powers Act, which Marco Rubio today declared as unconstitutional. So
Now pay attention. That 60 days is up. It been up, okay? Did they do this to start the clock again? Think about it, y'all.
They claim, the Epic Fury, that's in there. We won. Oh, they won, right? So now they're claiming that, this Project Freedom is a new type of military operation. It is not. The United States is creating an entire pretext. In fact, in the last 48 hours, we've seen two alleged IR.
So what they're doing is they sitting up there scheming and scamming and trying to think of a plan and a way around everything without we the people noticing it.
GC missile attacks on the United Arab Emirates. Turns out those are probably launched by Israel as false flags.
Yes, Iran is blaming us for the UAE. Okay? They are blaming us for bombing the UAE. They said they had no parts in that. So pay attention to what's going on.
Because the IRGC has firmly denied, no, we haven't done anything like that. So what is going to happen, based upon what I'm told from somebody in the United Arab Emirates, who is well connected with what remains of their military, that a coordinated strike by the United States, Israel, and the Emiratis will be carried out just on the 7th of May, the 7th or 8th of May. So by the end of this week, Thursday or Friday, that they're going to renew the air attacks and possibly ground attacks on Iran.
What y'all think about that? What y'all think? So the last time I went live, there was reports that Iran did that to the UAE. The IRG said we had nothing to do with that. Now they are blaming us in Israel for bombing the UAE.
Is it a wise decision to bring in the military? Do you think that they can succeed in unblocking the strait by not providing escorts, but providing this assistance?
Thank you for having me. When you say assistance, I'd appreciate if you could just be clear. You're talking about using the military to invade and occupy territory which is currently held by the Iranian regime. Is that what you mean? Because I think it needs to be said like
I mean, it would be...
Listen, we all guessing at this point. We don't know what to call it, what it is, what they were doing.
Good if, I guess, we got from the White House exactly what their assistance is going to be, because apart from being told in various parts of the media that they're going to help the stranded ships, we don't exactly know what that looks like. So I guess we're all playing a little bit of a guessing game. It hasn't looked good on day one. And what do you make of their...
Peanut, what you doing up? What's up?
Their efforts so far?
Well, there have been several day ones through this war, including...
Bingo. Several day ones. Several with no goals accomplished.
In the beginning of this war. And it took several weeks before the Trump administration was clear about what its consensus position was on war aims, because there were conflicting war aims.
Bingo. We changed our war aims quite a few times.
Being stated for actually several weeks. Part of the problem in terms of how the United States has prosecuted this war is that within the White House, decision-making around foreign policy has been incredibly centralized around very few people, and not
who they should be having the conversations with. Okay, as far as who is advising Trump.
Not just the decisions, but also information that inform those decisions. This is unlike any other presidency that I've seen in my lifetime, where expertise within the State Department, within the CIA, within different agencies.
We got Hegseth, we got Witkoff, we got Rubio. Who else? I mean, Trump has not sat down with anyone military-wise maybe once since this has started. And that was for the first time because Pete Hegseth was tied up with Congress.
Washington simply don't have input. So you have these bizarre conclusions that, if you have a sufficiently shock and awe campaign, then you're going to have a Venezuela-style outcome, or you're going to have the capitulation of the regime. The regime is a resilient one. It's a nefarious one, sure, but it's not one that's just going to collapse tomorrow.
Bingo. So when we first came into this war, that was one of the objectives, regime change. That is not a 4 to 6 week thing. So I knew when they came in with those objectives There was no way we was going to be out within 4 to 6 weeks. I'm just saying.
As a result of a shock and awe campaign or some sort of blockade. Unfortunately, there are those in DC who think otherwise, but it shows that the level of engagement from within expertise circles in DC into the administration has been incredibly minimal. And I think people...
Y'all know who he talking about. Y'all know. Witkoff, Hegseth,
have now realized this, and they're trying to recoup. The very fact that we're even talking about the Strait of Hormuz, quite frankly, is evidence of that. Anybody who looked at war games in Washington...
And not only that, that purge of the firing of many military officers in the midst of a war was insane. We went over that the last time I went live. He is trying to secure his spot for sure.
Over the past decade, would have known that very quickly this would have been something that the Iranian regime would do. And yet the Trump White House, this Trump White House, not even the first one, mind you, but this Trump White House was taken completely by surprise.
Hey, it's John Carl checking in quick from the White House.
Now we're going to hear what Trump had to say. Right now, he's downplaying everything. Literally.
Question today is
and if you're new here, remember, we always start from the day before.
Whether or not the ceasefire.
Excuse me. We always start from the day before, and then we work our way up in real time.
With Iran is over. Is the ceasefire over? I talked to President Trump about this just a short while ago. I will get to that in a moment. But first, look at what's happened in the region. You've had a series of attacks by the Iranians, one on a South Korean vessel outside the Strait of Hormuz, doing some damage there. And then the biggest attack on a UAE oil infrastructure.
Bingo. Again, the UAE, they try to blame that on Iran. They said we had nothing to do with it. At this point, they are pointing at the U.S. and Israel.
Site that was a significant attack, the biggest attack since the ceasefire was crafted. This was a missile attack, drone attack, and certainly did not look like something that happens during a ceasefire. Meanwhile, U.S.
And maybe that's why they were downplaying it, because they knew.
Navy was fired on by the Iranians, and what the Iranians said were warning shots, didn't hit anything. CENTCOM said that they intercepted a series of missile and drone attacks, and that they took out, U.S. Navy ships took out 6 Iranian speedboats, those speedboats associated with the Iranian Navy. So with all that going on, I called the president to ask if the ceasefire is now over. And it was striking to me how much he downplayed what was happening. He said that the attacks were not heavy firing. The Iranian attacks were not heavy firing. He said South Korea got hit, so South Korea should go in there and defend.
Let me tell you guys something. Right now, Iran, they went over to China. They're meeting with China. They're speaking with their leaders. They are always on the move, thinking of their next move. And they are always speaking with their allies, something that we can't do right now. Let's go.
Itself basically is what he was saying regarding the UAE attack. He says most of them were intercepted. One got through. The damage wasn't very much. So he was downplaying this. He was saying the Iranians better hope that the ceasefire holds. It'll be very bad for them if it doesn't. But
now remember, Diamond Gang, this is before he said he was going to put Operation Freedom on hold.
He did not come out saying that, he was ready to take, significant action against Iran for any of this. Now, given how high gas prices are now, given the stalemate in the peace talks, I asked him, what does this mean about the prospects for ending the war? And here's what I will end with, what he told me. He said, we have it under control. One way or another, we win. And you know why, John? I always win. So that's what President Trump was saying.
If you call Taco Tuesday a win, okay.
Characteristic bravado, but not sounding like he's getting ready to hit back hard on Iran, at least not at this moment.
Is the conflict with Iran like a game of chess? It's an analogy that's been made by many people, including President Trump.
Big chess game at a very high level. It's a very high level chess.
Right here, he's going to admit that they are very intelligent people.
In some ways, the analogy kind of works. You could argue that by starting the war, apparently with the intention of stopping Iran from building nuclear weapons, the Trump administration thought it was going to checkmate the Iranian regime. But it perhaps failed to see that the Iranian regime had a powerful move up its sleeve, effectively paralyzing oil traffic through the Strait of Hormuz. Now the US is trying to reverse that advantage with a...
I also have a piece in here, and I believe it was from when Obama was president and they were having peace talks, how they strategized and why they strategized the way that they did so that the straits would not be closed. This administration never thought of that. They never thought of that.
Powerful but high-risk move of its own, using its military to try to reopen the strait. In other ways, though, the chess analogy doesn't work quite so well. In chess, both sides have an equal number of weapons or pieces, and the playing field is even. But the whole point about this conflict is that it's asymmetrical. The Iranians have used cheaply produced drones to do damage to a much more powerful adversary and its allies. And the Iranian regime may view its mere survival as victory. All of that makes Iran much more difficult to defeat and to negotiate.
That part, that is it. That's a win for them to be able to survive. That's a win for them.
With. It's also worth pointing out that for people here in the Middle East who've been under bombardment during this conflict, it's nothing like a game.
There is a possibility here that what the White House ultimately seeks to do is restart hostilities, give it all.
Bingo, we talked about this yesterday. Did he call Operation Freedom to reignite the war?
A new coat of paint, give it a fresh name, and then say to Congress, so that 60-day clock starts from zero again now. It certainly plays into the argument of Chancellor Friedrich Merz of Germany that Iran has humiliated the United States and potentially is continuing to do so.
Diamond Gang, please, 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 and thank you. Please hit the like for your girl. Please and thank you. If you would like to support the channel, the Cash App is pinned.
I mean, the president's official position, the official White House position, is that this war is being won on a daily basis, that Iran has been completely neutered. It, as the president repeats, like a man.
Let me tell you guys something. I have a piece in here which is insane. The president had some type of, I can't remember if it was with the astronauts. I can't remember, but I do have it tonight. And there were children in that room. He literally was explaining to them what was going on with the war. And he said I'm not even going to repeat what he said. I'm going to allow you guys to see it.
It has no navy, it has no air force, it has no anti-ballistic missile capability left. And yet the Iranians, whatever happened in the Strait today, certainly they've struck a UAE.
We went over this. Their stockpile, they still have at least maybe 50%. And they are also being assisted by Russia with the drones and intelligence.
Tanker in the Strait, they still have the heft available, and Pentagon officials have conceded in classified briefings for lawmakers thousands of ballistic missiles and drones at their disposal to keep the Strait of Hormuz essentially.
Y'all hear that? Those drones, y'all know where they're coming from.
Closed.
So the U.S. Navy went absolutely wild yesterday. They sent 2 destroyers through the Strait of Hormuz, dodging Iranian mines, drones, missiles, and fast attack boats to extract 2 U.S. flagged vessels stranded in the Persian Gulf. What? So this was reported by Jim Laporte over at CBS News. He said 2 U.S. Navy destroyers transited the Strait of Hormuz and entered the Persian Gulf after.
And I do believe once that mission was accomplished and those 2 boats got out, which there's conflicting stories. One story is that they got through, they received help. There's another story saying that they turned around. So it's all in who you believe.
Navigating an Iranian barrage. The USS Truxtun and USS Mason, supported by Apache helicopters and other aircraft, faced a series of coordinated threats during the passage. Iran launched small boats, missiles, and drones against them in what officials described as a sustained barrage. They say despite the intensity of the attacks, neither U.S. vessel was struck. Military officials said that defensive measures bolstered by air support successfully intercepted or deterred each incoming.
And again, maybe that's why he ended up holding off on Operation Freedom. He claims it's to get peace talks. He claims
they added that no project.
Sorry, he claims that it's for peace talks. He claims that there's a deal. They're about to reach a deal. Iran said they had no idea. They had no idea.
Projectiles that were launched actually reached the ships. On top of that, these were mined waters. So the sailors on the Truxtun and the Mason not only have to look for drones and missiles, there's a very short window to spot those because the Strait of Hormuz is very narrow. They're not only looking for those, but they have to keep an eye out for mines in the water and these Iranian fast attack boats. It does sound like, I wonder if those Apaches actually engaged those fast attack boats. President Trump last night said either 6 or 8 of those were engaged and destroyed in the Strait of Hormuz. That's kind of, it's easy pickings for an Apache attack helicopter. But either way, can't wait to hear more about this. The sailors on the Truxtun and the Mason, again, just yesterday, pushing through, arguably, I think it's pretty safe to say, the most contested, the most dangerous waterway in the world right now.
Iran is the clear aggressor.
Now we're going to hear what Hegseth had to say, Rubio had to say yesterday, and a little bit of what Trump had to say yesterday. This was right before, and I mean hours before, they pulled Operation Freedom off we're done. We're going to hold off on that. So this was right before. Listen to how they're talking. And then hours later, okay, we're going to cease on Operation Freedom. Let's go.
Harassing civilian vessels, threatening mariners from every nation indiscriminately, and weaponizing a critical choke point for its own financial benefit, or at least trying to. For too long, Iran has been harassing ships, shooting at civilian tankers from all nations.
They had conflicting stories. Rubio's story was way off. And they're questioning the administration today. 1 minute, you guys are here. Hours later, you're over there. Never consistency.
And trying to impose a tolling system. Iran's plan, a form of international extortion, is unacceptable. That ends with Project Freedom. 2 U.S. commercial ships.
That ends with Project Freedom. 2 hours later, they called it off.
Along with American destroyers, have already safely transited the strait, showing the lane is clear. We know
it wasn't many, it was 2, and they had to fight to get the hell up out of there. Hit the like, Diamond Gang.
The Iranians are embarrassed by this fact. They said they control the strait. They do not.
Is the ceasefire over?
No, the ceasefire is not over.
Again, if you're just now coming in, all opinions will be respected. You just can't be disrespectful. Once you are, my mods will remove you. You can say what you want. Your opinions can be opposing to mine. You just can't be disrespectful. Please, please, please hit the like, please, and thank you. If you would like to support the channel, the Cash App is pinned.
Ultimately, this is a separate and distinct project, and we expected there would be some churn at the beginning, which happened. And we said we would defend and defend aggressively, and we absolutely have. Iran knows that, and ultimately, the president's going to make a decision whether anything were to escalate into a violation of a ceasefire. But certainly we would urge Iran.
Listen, the bombing, UAE, again, if you just now coming in, now today, they are saying that it came from the U.S. and Israel. The IRG said they had nothing to do with it.
Iran to be prudent in the actions that they take to keep that underneath this threshold. This is about the straits. This is about freedom of navigation. This is about international waterways. This is about free flow of commerce, all the things that happened before, and only Iran is contesting. So right now, the ceasefire certainly holds, but we're going to be watching very, very closely. As I've said before, the world needs this waterway a lot more than we do. We're stabilizing the situation. So
bingo, the world needs this waterway more than we do. Okay, so now they're banking on everybody else to come in and fix the problem they created. It don't go that way.
Commerce can flow again, but we expect the world to step up at the appropriate time, and soon we will
They expect the world to step up, but they did not consult the world before they went in with Israel and decided to start bombing. They did not.
Responsibility back to you.
Uh-oh, Pete, you kind of forgot the most important part of your speech there, which is proof. Because look, it's one thing to think that your own citizens might accept, trust me.
That as well. We still to this day don't have proof that there was an imminent threat. None. We have no war objectives completed. So, yeah.
Bro, this country in the Mideast was super close to weapons of mass destruction. If you don't remember, ask anyone with this much gray in their beard. But when you're demanding the international community come together like Voltron, again, if you don't remember, ask anyone with this much gray in their beard, you have to prove it. That's kind of why we built that big building that says UN on it. We are this far into this mess, and you haven't gotten around to producing the evidence to back up the accusation. But look,
nor any war objectives completed.
Let's back up. Put yourself in the shoes of a country that isn't the US. I know your brain hurts right now. That searing hot pain, that's where empathy should be. Look at what we've been doing. We spent all last year openly opining about what random sovereign countries we should be able to have. Then we dedicated a whole day to tariffs because we were sick of being ripped off by the rest of the world. Real Bond villain energy, by the way. And then we attacked Iran with the excuse that their nuclear capabilities were both decimated and an imminent threat.
Bingo. So last year in June, we supposedly decimated. So there shouldn't have been anything over there. Anything.
Schrodinger's uranium program, great band name, by the way, which became a war or defensive posture or excursion.
Not to mention, he tore up Obama's plan where we were actually monitoring them. He got rid of it. Pulled everybody and got rid of it.
Depending on the legal requirements of that specific moment, that ended up disrupting the worldwide distribution of oil. And now you think that we just have the international goodwill to shout Avengers Assemble? This should be all the evidence you need that your whole vibe, this if a bottle of 5-hour energy was a foreign policy thing that you have going on, isn't convincing or effective. And just from a logistical standpoint, thank God. It makes me sleep better knowing that the world isn't going to budge for this kind of bravado alone, that our allies can't be bullied into destabilizing the world more than we're doing on our own. It's nice to know that the gears of World War III are going to take a little bit more lubrication than just Pete Hegseth's spittle, who should open for Schrodinger's uranium program. That sounds like a great concert.
Are there still concerns about mines in the Strait? And can you kind of clarify these reports of kamikaze dolphins that we've heard about?
I haven't heard the kamikaze dolphin thing. It's like sharks with laser beams, right? The threshold of restarting is a political decision above my pay grade. What I'll say is it's low harassing fire right now. It feels like Iran is grasping at straws to try to do something.
So again, this is what they're blaming Iran for. They said that they were shooting back and forth. They bombed the UAE. Again, there's conflicting stories.
across the southern flank. To your question, David, their command and control structure remains very fractured.
Remember the last time I went live, the UAE vowed retaliation strikes. That has still, they haven't, because of these conflicting stories. They trying to get to the bottom of it. Was it the U.S. and Israel, or was it Iran?
And I think they're struggling to maintain control down echelon at the edge, but it's still pretty low level kinetics at this point in time.
And I can't confirm or deny whether we have kamikaze dolphins, but I can confirm they don't. Ultimately, any follow-on effort, if there are mines identified, would be something that some of our units could undertake or the world could undertake. But right now we know we have a lane of safe passage that commercial shipping can flow through.
Y'all hear that? A lane of safe passage. Again, 2 hours later, they called freedom off. He tacoed.
Absolutely.
Secretary
James, go ahead.
Mr. Secretary, thank you. General, thank you. I want to first.
Now listen to this. Someone is going to ask them about one of the goals as far as surrendering. He's going to say, whatever happened to that?
Express my gratitude and admiration for the work you do and for everyone involved in our armed forces, and also for the accomplishments of Operation Epic Fury, which I think are too often dismissed too lightly. But those accomplishments don't obscure, I think, a central default that has occurred here, and I would like you both to address it. On the first day of this conflict, President Trump.
So, Diamond Gang, let me know what y'all think. Do you guys believe that they did Operation Freedom to reset the war powers? Put a 1 in the chat if you believe that. Put a 2 if you don't believe that they did that. That was a plan that failed miserably.
Addressed the Iranian people directly and said, when we're finished, take over your government. It'll be yours to take. And then on the 7th day of the conflict, in a Truth Social post, the president said, quote, there will be no deal with Iran except, all caps, exclamation mark, unconditional surrender.
Boom. Y'all remember that? Unconditional surrender. Look where we at today. Look where we at. The Straits is closed and none of our objectives. And we still don't, none of our objectives were met. And we still don't have the proof that there was an imminent threat.
What happens to that pledge to the Iranians? And when did the president decide to capitulate?
What's up, David? Thanks. Okay, I see the 1s in the chat. So you guys think that they did this to amp up. Okay, amp it up. Okay, cool.
On his demand for unconditional surrender.
Well, James, I wouldn't. You started out nicely, but you ended exactly where we knew you would end. The president hasn't capitulated on anything. He holds the cards. We maintain the upper hand, and Project Freedom only strengthens that hand. And so he will ensure that whatever deal is made or whatever end state is reached,
Again, he said that there was a deal on the table. The Iranians said they had no idea.
It's ensuring that Iran never has a nuclear weapon, which is number 1, and he's been focused on that, and the deal and discussions are centered on that. And what the Iranian people take advantage of after the fact is up to them, and he's been very clear about that. And maybe you do it now, maybe it happens later, but ultimately he's also been clear, we're not going to entangle this into some nation-building project. Our objectives are clear. They've been pursued from day one. Hopefully the Iranian people take advantage of that because they're being taken advantage of by this regime. As you know, 45,000 Iranians, innocent Iranians, killed before the outset of this. That's what this government does, kills their own innocent civilians. Getting out from underneath that is going to be a challenge of the Iranian people, and we certainly hope they take advantage of that. Thank you.
Can I have one follow, please?
Go ahead. Everybody else
one follow.
Directives. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. Can you share?
As a result of Iran's indiscriminate attacks across the region, there are currently 22,500 mariners embarked on more than 1,550 commercial vessels trapped in the Arabian Gulf, unable to transit.
Now that, I'm not okay with that because, some of these vessels have nothing to do with what's going on. And one guy, I seen him speak the other day, and he's terrified.
In addition to shipping, Iran has continued to deliberately attack its neighbors. Just yesterday, Iran attacked Oman once and the UAE 3 times, including an attack on
There is inconsistencies in that story.
Fujairah oil terminal, which was successfully defeated. They also launched cruise missiles, drones, small boats at U.S. forces defending commercial shipping in the Straits, and United States Navy MH-60 helicopters and Army AH-64 Apache helicopters successfully defeated those threats.
They fired at U.S. ships several times in the last 24 hours.
Now listen, he's going to downplay this.
Do they need to do to violate the ceasefire?
Well, you'll find out because I'll let you know. They know what to do and they know what to do. And they know what not to do, more importantly, actually. And, they fired them in little boats with pea shooters, the pea shooters, little boat with little, because they don't have any
Now watch how he explains this.
boats anymore. Their Navy is comprised of, they call them little boats. Fast boats or little boats. And they're fast, they're so fast that...
And they can do damage.
That they had 8 of them and they're all gone. And they're fast, but they're not fast like a missile. A missile is slightly faster. They're all gone, so they're looking around for little boats to try and compete with our...
Literally an hour maybe after this is when they called it.
Great Navy. We have a Navy.
I just want to know how you go from to where they at right now to we're going to, halt on this Operation Freedom.
It's unbelievable. We set up a blockade, as you know very well. Not one ship. A couple tried, and they got their engine shut down.
You said, Carl, that Iran doesn't keep any agreement. Okay.
You remember? I think it was it was a great display.
Marie said Pete Hegseth doesn't know what the heck is going on, really. Not at all. And neither does Rubio, apparently, because his story was way different.
A ship wanted to go through, break the blockade. They were warned not to. And then they were warned again by a young Annapolis captain of the ship with a great look, central casting. These people are central casting, I'll tell you. And he said, don't do it. Then he said, evacuate your engine room with this unbelievable loudspeaker that goes over water. He said, you have 10 seconds. And then from 4 miles with one bullet, it went right into the engine. And Gary, the ship stopped very quickly. They hit the engine with one shot. It wasn't a missile. They don't want to waste a missile on it. It's too easy. And then we had another one at 2,000.
Remember, guys, we went over this. When they brief him on certain operations, they will only show him what is going on or what when we're bombing. 2-minute clips. That's what they show him. And that sounds like what he's describing right now.
I was in one of the biggest ships in the world. They were warned. And he said, go back now. Go back right now. You will be shot at within 10 seconds. Yes, I am going back to Iran. I am going back.
Congress called Pete Hegseth out on that when he was in front of Congress last week. Him basically hiding things from President Trump. They called his ass out.
That was the end of that, right? It took him 10 miles to turn. The ship was so big, but they respect us. They didn't used to respect us, but they respect us more than we've ever been respected. Our country now.
I don't think that's so. I don't. Based off of these videos and these memes and them trolling, I don't think so.
It was the hottest country anywhere in the world. We had a country that was dead when we had that group of people that ran this country with their open borders, letting anybody come in from the Congo, from countries all over the world. They came in from prisons and mental institutions. We had a country that would have been a dead hit. If they won the election, this country would have been a dead country. Now we have the hottest country anywhere in the world. Go ahead.
Noon said he's definitely on his way out. His orange skin is looking pale and he's shuffling and gibbering like he has Alzheimer's. You got to hear what he told these kids. He basically described unalivement and bombing, and yeah, it was horrible. It was horrific. It was horrific, and I do have that piece.
I also thought oil would go up to 200, 250, maybe 300, and I knew it would be short term.
This is when he basically told everybody, so what? Deal with it.
But I thought it would go.
Trump tells Americans to stop complaining about high gas prices. It's a very small price to pay. They keep saying, "Oh, would you want Iran to have a bomb?" We still have no proof.
I look today; it's like at 102, and that's a very small price to pay for getting rid of a nuclear weapon from people that are really mentally deranged.
If Iran had a nuclear weapon.
You said Biden don't even know how to tie his shoes. Biden is gone. We dealing with Trump right now. Biden is gone. Let's go.
And they decided to close the straits and make our gas prices like $9 a gallon or $8 a gallon, we wouldn't be able to do anything about it because they have a nuclear weapon. And a nuclear-armed Iran could do whatever the hell they want with.
Again, they had no proof. Again, he tore up Obama's deal where we had oversight, where we can actually see what they were doing. We had people there. Okay, he decided to tear it up. That was his decision, Trump's decision, to go in and tear it up and pull everybody. We had oversight.
The straits, and there's nothing anyone would be able to do about it. And that's one of the many reasons apart from.
And not only that, when they bombed the first time, they said that they obliterated everything, that it was destroyed last year, right? Right? So what are they talking about now?
From like the massive loss of life in a nuclear strike, why Iran can never have a nuclear weapon. I mean, so this is an example of if they had a nuclear weapon, they closed.
Not only that, they were in the 6th round of negotiations when Israel hit them, and then we followed suit. So again, what are they talking about?
The straits, and they would tell the world, what are you going to do about it? We have a nuclear weapon. We can attack you with it. That's the world none of us want to leave behind. It won't happen under this president's watch, but some future president.
But these are the guys that was in that room advising the president when he said, I had a gut feeling that they were trying to make a nuclear weapon. When he made that decision to go in with Israel, he had Rubio, Kushner, he had Bibi in the room with him, not the military.
Future, in the future, Americans will have to deal with this. So just one more example of why these guys can never be allowed to have a nuclear weapon. This is not an offensive operation. This is
Hegseth. Those are the people he had surrounding him when he decided to go to war.
the defensive operation. And what that means is very simple. There's no shooting unless we're shot at first. Okay, we're not attacking them. But if they're attacking us, so they're attacking a ship, you need to respond to that. You're not going to let some fast boat come up on the ship and shoot it up. We're going to respond to it, and we've been successful at it. I don't know what the exact number is, but I know a number of those fast boats have now been targeted, and will continue to be. If they pose a threat to our forces, we'll shoot down drones, we'll shoot down missiles, but it's defensive in nature. This is defensive. So if you hear stories about attacks and launching of firing back and forth, it's not back and forth.
You hear that? It's defensive. You see how they switched that around? You see how they switched that around? It's defensive.
Forth. We are only responding if attacked first. This is a defensive operation, and that's what's occurring here.
Perhaps the right answer is for the Americans to leave the region. Let it be up to the GCC countries, the Gulf countries, to deal with Iran on their own.
Now, who believes that we should basically leave it up to them to get it together? You said, yeah, but we will be walking to work. Walking to work, what you mean, Todd? Put it in detail in the chat.
I think that That's certainly a solution.
Professor
And-
Barakat, is that a solution
Well,
for the Gulf
I
countries
think-
to deal with Iran on their own?
Well, they may as well have done so because the Americans decided to hit Iran without talking to the Gulf countries. So you can't have it both ways. You can't say we're.
Boom. You can't have it both ways. Let's go back. Let's go back just a little bit. Okay, let's hear what he say.
It's defensive in nature. This is defensive. So if you hear stories about attacks and launching of firing back and forth, it's not back and forth. We are only responding if attacked first. This is a defensive operation, and that's what's occurring here.
Perhaps the right answer is for the Americans to leave the region. Let it be up to the GCC countries.
Okay, Adrian said, have you ever watched the altercations between them? Of course, it is defensive. They launch missiles, drones, and drive test boats at the destroyers and the destroyers' defense. Okay. And the reason why I'm just saying, okay, that's your opinion and you're entitled to it. However, it's not defensive when we struck them, okay? It's not defensive when they were in the 6 rounds of negotiation and Iran offered to dilute the uranium. That's not defensive. It's not defensive when you bomb a school, unaliving children. That's not defensive.
The Gulf countries to deal with Iran on their own. I think that that's certainly a solution.
Professor Barakat, is that a solution
Well,
for the Gulf countries to deal with Iran on their own?
Well, they may as well have done so because the Americans decided to hit Iran without talking to the Gulf countries. So you can't have it both ways. You can't say we're your best.
You said, Kerry said, you don't have to think Trump will do it for you.
Strategic ally, and we're protecting you from Iran, but we will decide when you get hit. They should have done it in a way.
Alliance. Let's say, look. It is my tax dollars. Money comes out of my pocket as an American to help provide defense.
To be quite honest with you, Adrian, no, I haven't. But I'm going to say this: since this war or excursion or whatever they want to call it has been going on, Iran has had a lot of restraint. A lot of restraint.
Of your region. We could save a whole lot of money if we just say, okay, we'll leave.
Well,
You're
I
on
don't
your
think
own.
the United States, and this has been proven now 2 or 3.
Now they're amping up their game. Now they are amping up their game.
Occasions of the last year is here to protect the Gulf states, is here to protect Israel. And we have to be very careful, very, very clear about this. The United States present in the Middle East, they do not care less about what happens to us. Look what they've done when Saudi was attacked by the Houthis compared to what they've done when the Israelis are threatened by the Iranians. So it's a very different calculation.
Right. So
I
all we need
agree.
to
I
do-
think they should spare the money. They should focus on their own interests. They should focus on the good economic interests that they could have with us in the
That
Gulf
part.
outside.
Todd, work on home. There's no money in that.
Sending us weapons.
You're saying we need to work on what's going on here, correct? You are the ones who are not going to have any more money in the bank to pay anything. You got to be a little more specific, Kerry.
We really are in a position where the United States and the Gulf states can have a fantastic developmental relationship.
Please and thank you. Please and thank you. Please hit the like. Please hit the like. Please and thank you. That's okay. You said, host, you are full of it. Your girl that's not my girl. That's not my girl. See, you need to, Poppy, you need to come over a little more. We had a whole discussion about her and Biden. That's not my girl. It's ignorant of you to assume. Poppy, that's not my girl.
Fortunately, the way we are stuck in this Israeli position at the moment makes it impossible.
General Kimmett, I'll give you the last word. Go on.
We can certainly protect Israel in Israel, and we can let the Gulf states take care of themselves.
Okay, one more, Adrian. I'll read this one. Well, you can't just make up what you would like for there to be happening, or I could give my opinion. I could give my opinion. It's my opinion.
If we're here simply to protect Israel, then we'll do that.
Well, that's what you're doing. This is what the worst thing about it is that they're not actually protecting Israel at the moment by helping Israel this particular.
Again, Poppy, that's not my girl. You got one more shot. You get you're going, Poppy. I'm sorry. You can say what you want, you just can't be disrespectful. You're gone. Sorry. I was going to give him one more shot. America has also shown the limitations of their armed forces to others like China. Speak for yourself. I am.
Government to go that extreme. They're making it worse for Israel, and they're making it worse for
That part, because that definitely is not my girl. Her or Biden. Biden wasn't my boy either. But I did have to choose out of the lesser of the evils. Let's go.
for Jewish people across the globe. The real best way to move forward is to recalculate that, unquestioning position in support of Israel. You can't continue like this. I mean,
Oh, no, I know what you were saying, LaFlex. I know what you were saying.
3 men with 3 takes on what's really happening in the Strait of Hormuz.
I call it a skirmish.
You hear that? I call it a skirmish. This is not a skirmish.
Because Iran has no chance. They never did.
The time's come for Iran to make a sensible choice.
No, the ceasefire is not over.
First, there's the president, the commander-in-chief. He's urging Iran to throw in the towel.
They should wave the white flag of surrender.
He told his audience, including school children attending the relaunch of a fitness.
Bing, there it goes. School children. It was a fitness, something with the fitness, but we'll get deeper into that.
This test that Iran wants a deal, but is playing games and firing with pea shooters.
They've got 3-4 guys. They got a little machine gun in front.
He's talking to kids like this. Kids. That's in grade school.
Shooting at one of our ships, and then they take it out with an Apache helicopter in about 2 seconds. They go, Apache, ship, northwest 10 degrees. Turns around, boom.
Next, there's the man who's implementing U.S. foreign policy, the Secretary of State, Marco Rubio. He says they're doing the world a favor by reopening the strait. Now,
they're doing the world a favor by reopening the straits. They are doing the world a favor. This is insane. You can't make this shit up.
That the war is, in his words, over.
Look, the Operation Epic Fury is concluded.
So you go over there, you tear everything up, you get the straits closed and say, hey, world, it's on you. They didn't consult none of our allies. They didn't consult the world before they did this.
We achieved the objectives of that operation.
That's a lie. They did not achieve not one objective. There is no regime change. They do not have the uranium. Their military is not completely gone. The straits is still closed. Like, what?
We're not cheering for an additional situation to occur. We would prefer the path of peace.
So that's the president and the Secretary of State. But what about the so-called Secretary of War? The Pentagon says recent missile, drone and fast boat attacks are Iran grasping at straws, but fall below the threshold for a return to major combat operations.
Here's the deal. They had no type of strategy. You go in with Israel, we had 2 different objectives. We already know Israel's objectives was to unalive every leader, to crush and destroy everything, and to take over. You got 2 different objectives, Israel's objectives, the U.S. objectives, and no strategy, no plan B, and no backup plan. Look at what we in.
Ultimately, the president's going to make a decision whether anything were to escalate into a violation of a ceasefire.
I got a piece in here from a guy that was a part of the Obama administration. And when they negotiated that deal that Trump tore up, where we had oversight, he said they had mapped all of that out of what could happen with them closing the straits and everything. This administration never thought of it. Never even thought of that shit.
Fire, but certainly we would urge Iran to be prudent in the actions that they take.
When asked what would constitute a breach of the ceasefire, the president said Iran knows what not to do. But are dolphins carrying...
That part, they were just improvising, just doing what all over the place. But look, guess who advised him on it? Hegseth, Rubio, Netanyahu.
Mines to attack
Kushner.
Ships on Iran's to-do list. On reports of them being trained for suicide missions, Pete Hegseth said...
and I can't confirm or deny whether we have kamikaze dolphins, but I can confirm they don't.
From kamikaze dolphins to the status of the ceasefire to the prospect of a deal. Some fog, some spin, but not much clarity.
I think we will fold because now it is political. His ratings are in the trash. Most Americans are against this. So, yeah.
From the latest round of war briefings.
Breaking news in Iran. Iran is flexing their muscles and they are flexing big. They are proving to the world that...
No, it's cool. You could say that. You said everything I tried to say is being diminished. Thank God for Trump. Anyone who says otherwise is just confused. No, we're not confused on what's going on. We're not. All right, let's go.
The Strait of Hormuz belongs to Iran, and that's that. Operation Project...
Let's go back. This is my boy right here. Let's go.
Operation. I'm not going to, we're not cheering for an additional situation to occur. We would prefer the path of peace.
So that's the president and the Secretary of State. But what about the so-called Secretary of War?
Wait, hold on. You could say that, Adrian. Just misspell the curse words. Just misspell them. All right, I got to stay up out of this chat. Let's go.
The Pentagon says recent missile, drone and fast boat attacks are Iran grasping at straws, but fall below the threshold for a return to major combat operations.
Ultimately, the president's going to make a decision whether anything were to escalate into a violation of a ceasefire, but certainly we would urge Iran to be prudent in the actions that they take.
When asked what would constitute a breach of the ceasefire, the president said Iran knows what not to do. But are dolphins carrying mines to attack ships on Iran's to-do list? On reports of them being trained for suicide missions, Pete Hegseth said...
and I can't confirm or deny whether we have kamikaze dolphins, but I can confirm they don't.
From kamikaze
This dude. Sorry, y'all. This dude.
Dolphins to the status of the ceasefire to the prospect of a deal. Some fog, some spin, but not much clarity from the latest round of war briefing.
That part. And our soldiers are starving on the ships. Yes, they are. That is unbelievable. I told you guys, one lost 17 pounds. 17 pounds. Please, Diamond Gang, could y'all hit the like for your girl? Please and thank you. It helps keep me in the algorithm. If you would like to support the chat, I said the chat, oh my goodness. The channel, the Cash App is pinned. All right, y'all, I got to get out these comments, but I love them. I wish I was down there with y'all. Let's go.
Breaking news in Iran. Iran is flexing their muscles and they are flexing big. They are proving to the world that the Strait of Hormuz belongs to Iran, and that's that. Operation Project Freedom is failing, and it's failing big for Donald Trump. As was reported yesterday, Iran shot at UAE ships, and when America came to the rescue, they were shot at as well. Then to assure that oil prices stay high, Iran struck a pipeline endpoint in Fujairah. This is the only way the UAE can bypass the Strait of Hormuz. And
this is what I'm saying, y'all. I'm telling you, when we get to current, because we're almost what's going on like from this morning, There is conflicting reports. They are trying to blame that on us in Israel for the UAE. I promise y'all.
Ship their oil. Almost 2 billion barrels of oil go through here daily, and Iran just cut that off. Now we understand the reasoning for the UAE leaving OPEC last week. OPEC limits how much oil.
They said that. They said, "What? Like, we're out of here. We're being hit, and this is not okay." And I don't blame them.
Oil a country can produce and sell, and at what price. And as of lately, I'm in Detroit right now.
Adrian, are you okay? Are you okay? Adrian. Girl. She said PXF would be excellent for president for the future. No way. I would rather see JD Vance. I'm sorry. I would rather see JD Vance.
And gas is over $5 a gallon for regular unleaded. I think in the history of me driving, I have never seen.
And guess what? I think he might mess around and have a chance. You want to know why? Because he's quiet. He is not for this war. Y'all don't hear him. Y'all don't see him. He don't speak. Let's go. You said you are not thinking of the future itself. Who, me, Curie? All right, let's go.
Prices this high in my life. So I think that Trump had the UAE leave OPEC so they can produce as many barrels as they want and sell as many barrels as they want.
Now that I believe. I do believe that.
Any price they choose. Looks like Iran was one step ahead of them both and destroyed both shipping routes for the UAE. But with all that said above, which seems strategically smart for Iran to do, Iran has denied bombing their pipeline in their official statement.
Okay. Now, excuse me, but I was kind of rushing today. I had a lot of stuff to do, so I didn't thoroughly watch my clips like I normally do. So what he is saying is that he believes that they did do it, but they're denying it, and that was smart for them to do. You said we don't need a soft president? Man. All right, I'll let you have that. Let's go. Hit the like, y'all.
Are blaming the U.S. for the strike and said the U.S. is trying to start a regional war to get UAE to respond to Iran. In America, U.S. Secretary of War.
Yo, that makes sense. That makes sense. So what he's saying is that they denied it. He believes that we did this to start a regional war. So remember, I kept saying I'm nervous. I'm like, because the UAE last night, they vowed retaliations. So maybe, y'all, maybe. Let's go.
Or Pete Hegseth said today that the Strait of Hormuz is a temporary mission for us. And as I said before, the world needs this waterway a lot more than we do.
Curie said, no one is paying attention to Trump at all. I'm dying at these comments. Okay, let's go.
How does that make it?
Bro, happy birthday. Everybody, please put some cupcakes, put a cake, something, a party emoji. Say happy birthday to We Beat You. He in the building. Make sure y'all get over there and subscribe to my bro's channel. He lit. Happy birthday, bro.
Cents. We are over $5 a gallon because the strait is closed. It affects us, and it affects us badly. And what is it with this talk?
Hold up. Man, if y'all don't put something in the chat for my bro, come on, Diamond Gang. Y'all know y'all love me. And hit the like while y'all doing it. Tell my bro happy birthday, y'all. What you say, stop it, sis? No. He an old man now. Thanks, LaFlex. Thanks, David. I love my bro. That's my bro. All right, let's go.
That we don't need it. Other countries can deal with it. We caused a problem for these other countries. Now you just want them to deal with the problem that we created? Today, Prime Minister of India strongly condemns the attacks on the U.S.
Listen, man, Trump was golfing yesterday, living La Vida. No, that was Sunday. They just living La Vida, doing whatever they want. Man, Iran is meeting with China. They all over meeting with Russia. They doing this, they doing that. And we can't even go to our allies. This is sad. Let's go.
UAE ships. My question is, did he ever condemn Israel and the USA for starting this war to begin with? Did he ever condemn Israel and the USA for killing civilians in Iran from the bombing campaigns? I never heard anything. Correct me if I'm wrong, but let's stay tuned and see what happens next. Some people are saying war is going to start up again. I say it.
Thanks, bro. I'm trying to grind. Thank Lil Flex, why you laughing? You laughing at me? Don't laugh. Okay, let's go.
Doesn't, even if Israel is begging for one.
Hey, this is breaking news.
Hold on, you said 3 Indian citizens died in attack on UAE. Damn. You said sorry, but what else can you do but laugh? Wow, what am I doing? Stop, let's go.
President Trump says Project Freedom is being put on pause at Pakistan's request. This will be in order to...
Now, he said Pakistan asked him to put Project Freedom on hold. Maybe they did. Pakistan been grinding. They really wanted this to end. You know what I'm saying? Shots out to them. Let's go.
To determine if an agreement can be struck with Iran. But for the time being, the blockade will remain in effect.
You guys know what day it is, right? It's time.
Let's stop right there. Dustin, who you talking about? Who you talking about, Dustin? Put it in the chat. Be careful, because my mods will get you up out of here. My mods will get you up out of here. All right, let's go, y'all.
Taco Tuesday, and it's Cinco de Mayo. So what does Trump do? He always chickens out. He has suspended Project Freedom. While earlier today, also saying Operation Epic Fury had come to an end. That's what Pete Hegseth essentially said. And now his latest deal is on hold. Trump posted this shortly ago on Truth Social that based on the request.
That's what I'm saying. Like 3 hours prior to, they were talking tough Tony. They were talking tough Tony on Iran. A couple hours later, Project Freedom is a wrap, y'all. We got to put it on hold. That's what I said. Be careful, Dustin. You don't want to get escorted up out of here.
Of Pakistan and other countries, the tremendous military success that we have had during the campaign against the country of Iran, and additionally, the fact that the great progress has been made toward a complete and final agreement with representatives of Iran. We have mutually agreed that while the blockade will remain in full force in effect, Project Freedom, the movement of ships through the Strait of Hormuz, will be paused for a short period of time to see whether or not we can come to an agreement that can be finalized. Something like that. Whatever. This is just a joke. Trump has to get out of this. I said it yesterday. He has to find a way out of this war. Otherwise, it's going to be so disastrous. We can't even comprehend how bad it will be at this point. So it looks like he's trying to find the off-ramp, get out of this in a way where he can save face. So maybe they'll come to some sort of agreement.
His ego, he wants to win. And this is messed up because that's all he's talking about. Like anytime that you're talking to grade school kids about unaliving and war and like, yeah, this is bad.
We'll see. Keep checking back for updates. I'll let you know when I know more. Comment, like, share, spread the word, follow, subscribe, and I'll see you back here for the 411.
So Donald Trump has already folded. Trump has just announced that he's pausing what he called Project.
Remember, he said he had all the Uno cards. I was laughing so hard. They was like, he don't even know when you have all the cards in Uno, you're losing. You're losing. Let's go.
Project Freedom, that's the operation that he launched yesterday to escort ships through the Strait of Hormuz. There's no evidence that a single ship actually made it through under this operation. The operation also caused Iran not to back down, but to escalate. They struck targets in the UAE, including critical infrastructure, in direct response to this. Now Trump is calling it a...
Let me ask y'all a question. Do you guys believe that they struck the UAE, or do you believe that we did in order for, you know what I mean, to start a regional war? What you guys think?
a tremendous military success as he backtracks on the whole thing. At the same time, he says that the blockade on Iranian ports is still in place, which is important because Iran has repeatedly said that they're not going to negotiate while the blockade continues. So he's pausing this failed operation, but keeping the thing in place that's preventing negotiations. Here's Trump's full statement that he just posted on Truth Social.
But then again, I have another thought. Maybe he started Operation Freedom to get the negotiation started, because by him ending it, that may have been like a little, something to like kind of like soothe them a little bit. Okay, we're going to, not do this Project Freedom. Maybe to get them to the table. Let's go.
Based on the request of Pakistan and other countries, the tremendous military success that we have had during the campaign against the country of Iran, and additionally, the fact that great progress has been made toward a complete and final agreement with representatives of Iran, we have mutually agreed that while the blockade will remain in full force and effect, Project Freedom, the movement of ships through the Strait of Hormuz, will be paused for a short period of time to see whether or not the agreement can be finalized and signed. President Donald.
Maybe, maybe this is true to get him. Maybe Pakistan really did ask him. I'm trying to give him a chance.
Donald J. Trump. I guess it's fitting that he decided to do this on Taco Tuesday. And hey, I guess he wanted to go big on the taco for Cinco de Mayo. I don't know. That's it for now. Spread.
555 Kron said, I believe AI is taking all of our jobs. I'm hurting for a job, but there is hardly anything. If you're in Phoenix, I'm sorry to hear that. It's rough out here. It is. It's hard. It is so hard. You said, Terry said he says he wants a win, but won't tell us what's winning looks like. Yeah, this is crazy.
The word. Listen to the Midas Touch podcast for more.
The Secretary of Defense celebrated the success of Project Freedom with a total of 2 American-flagged commercial vessels passing safely through the Strait of Hormuz, protected by the U.S. military. But then just hours later, the president said the operation was paused to try to reach a complete and final agreement with Iran.
Now, remember, gang, this morning he said that there was a deal. They were about to make a deal.
Meanwhile, more than 1,500 ships remain stranded by a waterway that used to carry around 20% of the world's oil. And Iran insists that it is still in control of the strait. The U.S. says the Iranian military tried to disrupt Project Freedom, including with cruise missiles. But the president and other officials maintained yesterday that the ceasefire with Iran was still in place. And to add to the mixed messages, while President Trump has said that fighting with Iran could resume, yesterday the Secretary of State seemed to contradict him, saying,
bingo. Remember, I told you they were giving conflicting statements.
That Operation Epic Fury, the offensive stage of the war, is now over.
He is pausing Project Freedom, which essentially was this, well, that's only 2 days old, a project to ensure safe passage. Pete Hegseth described
that part, Cranky. He's not achieved one thing in Iraq. Yeah, we haven't got no deal in place. Iran is not even talking to the U.S. Exactly.
it as a dome, but the blockade is remaining in force. So it's for me, it's a gesture to bring Iran to the table, but it's a gesture short of the blockade, and that's what Iran.
That part, it's a gesture, but it's a gesture short of the blockade. Remember, they doubled down. If you don't remove that blockade, there's nothing to talk about. And again, I told you guys this morning, once he announced that they were close to a deal, they quickly made a statement and said, we had no idea. So I don't know. Diamond Gang, please, could I get 40 more likes? Please and thank you.
Objects to as an act of war, America blockading Iranian ports. So quite how that is going to fly with the Iranians, I'm not entirely sure. But it's Trump reaching out to some degree.
And let's just compare those words with what we've been hearing today from Pete Hegseth and Marco Rubio. Hegseth said the ceasefire remained intact and that they were now shifting their focus to Project Freedom.
Well, as you know, President Trump has directed U.S. Central Command to restart the free flow of commerce through the Strait of Hormuz under the umbrella of Project Freedom.
Marco Rubio said the war was over.
Y'all hear that? Those are the conflicting stories. So they wasn't even on the same accord. They was not. Let's go.
Epic Fury complete because they were shifting their focus to Project Freedom.
The operation is over. Epic Fury is President notified Congress. We're done with that stage of it. Okay, we're now on to this Project of Freedom.
And now we have the Commander-in-Chief, President Trump himself, telling us.
So one is saying the war is over. One is saying it's not.
That Project Freedom is paused. And all of that suggests America really has been backed into a corner, is desperate for an off-ramp and to see negotiations reach a conclusion.
It also reinforces the view that this is a president.
Here's the thing. I can't see him wanting 60-day avoidance. That's what look, I swear, David, I said that. I said they did that. What they did was say, okay, it's over. So, they wanted Congress just off their backs. And then they started up this Operation Freedom to ignite it again and to start the clock again. I said this last night. I don't know. We all know they are lying. Yeah. And that's sad that we have to rely, sometimes on Iran for the truth.
Literally, who doesn't know what he's doing in this conflict from one day to the next.
I mean, Iran's got a totally different narrative, as I'm sure you're aware, and they say the, quote, status quo is intolerable for America. They go on to say, we're just getting started. You're saying it's not intolerable for the rest of the world. But in terms of this other line of theirs, that they're just getting started, I mean, what other cards do you see the Iranians playing?
Well, one of the things I look at is remember back to, the unfortunate conflict the U.S. was engaged in Iraq, where you had Baghdad Bob standing out there saying, all is well. There are no Americans down here in Baghdad at all.
Todd, did you get it? Let me know. I just sent it to you.
I think the Iranians are trotting out and trying to say things on social media to the news to project a game face when the reality of it is.
Do you hear that? So they said that they're saying things on the news. You're welcome. That they're saying it on the news to project the game face. No, I think that President Trump is doing that, and sometimes a little too much. All right, let's go.
They are right now being slowly backed into a corner where they're not going to be able to survive this event, and that they are in fact going to have to come to the negotiating table in good faith to ensure that they're going to be able to exercise some restraint and allow that nuclear program to be dismantled and in accordance with international law and the agreements they've signed up to.
They pay their military. They can't pay their government. They're absolutely desperate for.
We demand that the UN take a tough stance. So here we go with them once again looking to our allies to help fix a problem that they didn't originally consult with them for or with. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is insane.
A deal. I won't get ahead of what's happening with our negotiators. And as Secretary Rubio said, all we're asking is for the UN to.
No, it's not all we're asking. Like, you go in and you wreck shop and you tear things up, and then you expect for everybody else to fix it. It don't work like that. That is not what NATO is there for. They are defensive. They don't go on the offense.
Do what it did last month when 136 nations condemned Iran for attacking civilian infrastructure, ports, airports, resorts, and everything else. They've been firing in all directions. Now we're pointing out that no matter how you feel about a conflict, you can't respond by throwing sea mines into international waterways and by trying to raise revenue by tolling international civilian shipping. And if they can't come together to do that, as Secretary Rubio said, I don't know.
Guess what? Had they would have strategized and made a plan if the straits was closed, or if they would have held off and went into that 6 rounds of negotiations without listening to Israel. I pledged the allegiance to Israel is what he's doing. None of this would be going on. None of this. Had he not tore up the Obama deal, none of this would be going on.
What it's good for. And it's not necessarily just the UN, it's China, Russia, and others. It's in their interest to say no matter where the conflict.
It's not in their interest because guess what? China got through with no problems. China got through with no problems. We did nothing. China gave us a warning. We've been doing business with them and we're going to continue. And guess what? We let China through like we had some sense.
Straits of Gibraltar, Straits of Malacca. You can't respond by punishing the rest of the world.
The Iranian foreign minister is here in Beijing for talks.
Now, here we go right here. While Trump was telling the kids what happens in war, this is what they were doing. Meeting. China and Iran was meeting. Talking business.
1 week before U.S. President Donald Trump is due to arrive for a high-stakes summit with Chinese leaders.
Meeting with its allies. Mapping out their game plans. And we can't even go to ours.
Xi Jinping, already delayed once by the Iran war. Now, the conventional wisdom is the Chinese benefit anytime the U.S. military is mired in quagmire. And also much has been said about China buying Iranian oil.
Come on, Diamond Gang. I got 133 in the building. Can I get 20 more likes? Please, 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 and thank you. It helps me stay in the algorithm. If you would like to support the channel, the Cash App is pinned. Please subscribe to the channel because eventually, once I hit 4K subscribers, I will not be going vertical and horizontal at the same time. So I will be over here in the vertical world, but not as often. Okay? All right, let's go.
Despite the U.S. sanctions, providing Tehran with an economic lifeline. But analysts agree China's goals and priorities are more practical. The Chinese economy needs reliable access to energy to fuel growth at home, but also a stable global market for its exports. A prolonged war, especially the blockade of the Strait of Hormuz, would hurt both. Now, Chinese officials did play a role in bringing the current ceasefire, but analysts say Beijing may not.
Okay, so he's basically saying that China did play a role in this current ceasefire. However, even with the straits closed, they still got through. They still got through.
Be in a hurry to ramp up pressure on Tehran just yet. China's oil stockpile and its pivot to green energies make it better prepared than almost anyone else in dealing with an oil shock. And also, Chinese officials may want to wait for an in-person request from President Trump, with him coming here without.
Boom. Did y'all hear that? So what they're saying is China, they want an in-person visit from Trump. They don't want Rubio. They don't want, you know what I mean? Kushner. They don't want them.
A quick win in Iran to play up any positive results from the Trump-Xi summit. And analysts also point out that this war may help reinforce Beijing's message about its global appeal as a cornerstone for stability and innovation, in contrast to all the chaos and destruction unleashed by Washington. As one of them put to us,
yeah, they do. China has high stockpile of oil. They do.
U.S. is fighting without winning, and China is winning without fighting.
Okay, so this is the China. Oh, wow. The screen is too low. I'm going to try to read it anyway, but this is the Chinese foreign minister. Yeah, I'm sorry. I cut the words off. Sorry, guys.
全面止战刻不容缓，重启战端更不可取，坚持谈判尤为重。
But he was basically saying that, you know, we got to get this together as far as working with Iran to get this war over.
中方支持一方维护国家主权和安全，赞赏一方愿通过外交途径寻求政治解决。
President Trump just posted to Truth Social saying Iran has to give up what has been agreed to or the bombing starts. This comes after reports this morning indicated there is a one-page.
Y'all see that? So first thing this morning, he started threatening again. So he went from Operation Freedom is over to threatening them again to we might have a deal on the table.
Proposal, a memorandum of understandings that Iran is waiting to respond to in the next 48 hours. The president has indicated if they agree to what was set out, that Operation Epic Fury will end.
Breaking news as Trump is back to making threats against Iran, saying if they don't agree to a deal, the bombing will.
I don't know what type of time he's on, if he's waking up on the wrong side of the bed or what, but this right here, he was using it as a tactic to try to get them to the table. This is not going to work anymore. It's not. These threats, they calling bluff every time. This is insane.
Start. In this Truth Social post from today, he says, assuming Iran agrees to give what has been agreed to, which is perhaps a big assumption, the already legendary.
Bingo. Marie said China and Russia are in the background doing Trump in. That's a fact. We lifted sanctions off of Russia. Russia are they're the same ones that's supplying Iran with drones and intelligence. So that is due to expire May 16th. And guess what? We're going to do it again. He's going to do it again. I don't know what type of bromance he got going on with Putin, but this administration, I've seen so much crooked, crazy stuff go on that I've never seen in my life. Or either I've never seen nothing like this administration.
Epic Fury will be at an end, and the highly effective blockade will allow the Hormuz Strait to be open to all, including Iran. If they don't agree, the bombing starts, and it will be, sadly, a much higher level and intensity.
That part, David, everybody's trying to figure out. That's all they've been saying. Agree to what? All day.
Than it was before. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Of course, the stock market has jumped up in response to this news, and the oil prices are starting to fall again. The key element.
And they keep saying that too as well. And somebody, I believe I do have that piece in here, ended up with over $1 billion. Like this stuff, I've never seen this with no administration. This is crazy.
Missing from this is a timeline. When does a deal need to be reached by before the bombing starts again? He doesn't say. No one knows. So we'll just wait around till Trump decides, I guess. Here we are, going at this yet again. Let me know what you guys think. Comment, like, share, spread the word, follow, subscribe, and I'll see you back here for the 411.
If you're confused by what the US is doing here in the Middle East, then so at times are we. There seem to be mixed messages coming from the Trump administration. Yesterday,
this is getting bad. This is getting bad.
The Secretary of Defense celebrated the success of Project Freedom with a total of 2 American-flagged commercial vessels passing safely through the Strait of Hormuz, protected by the US military. But just hours after that, the president said that the operation was paused to try to reach a complete and final agreement with Iran. More than 1,500 ships remain stranded by a waterway.
You said that dude messed everything, every single person over that voted for him, except for the billionaires. I agree. Yep, David, I believe that. That's in my opinion. Yeah, they manipulate the stock market all the time.
That used to carry around 20% of the world's oil, and Iran insists that it is still in control of the strait. Meanwhile, the US says that the Iranian military tried to disrupt Project Freedom, including with cruise missiles, but the president and other officials maintained yesterday that the ceasefire with Iran was still in place. And finally,
when this is all said and done, in my opinion, we will be the least respected country and we will be alienated.
while President Trump has said that fighting could resume with Iran, yesterday the Secretary of State seemed to contradict him, saying that Operation Epic Fury, the offensive stage of the war, is now over.
It was Taco Tuesday yesterday, and Donald Trump did it again. Taco. Trump always chickens out. Donald Trump decided to cancel the entire thing, the entire Project Freedom, to open up the Strait of Hormuz.
And because he canceled so quickly, I'm sorry, guys. Really watching this, I just believe he did that to try to escalate things.
Relegating Fox News hosts to try to explain why what...
If he felt like it would not affect him during this midterm elections, I think he would have been dropped bombs on them. I'm just being honest.
Trump did is really strong, even though it looks like pathetic, cowardly weakness. Now, Project Freedom was this effort, I guess you could call it, to escort commercial ships through the Strait of Hormuz. And this started Monday morning. Okay, we were 30 hours into this thing. And even though we all realize, oh, Trump just made a mistake, Trump's idea that they were going to do this and it was going to succeed, it was just another miscalculation by Trump. That's all it is. It was a mistake. Well, that's not the way it works on Fox News. When Trump does something that...
The excuses that Fox News come up with, this is unreal. When the feds hit that lady, Louise, I think her name is Louise, the Democrat, Fox was there already. Hold on, y'all. I'm going to tell y'all right now. FBI did a raid to Virginia State Senator L. Louise Lucas, a prominent Black Democrat lawmaker. Lucas is a high-ranking Democrat in Virginia and played a major role in redistricting efforts that benefited the Democrats. They said Fox News was already there. They tipped them off. This is insane. Let's go.
Seems demented and pathetic. The same suspects come to his rescue and go, it's some kind of 6D chess. He is so much smarter than us. Don't question him.
Fox News alert. The president says, based on the request of Pakistan and other countries, we have mutually agreed that while the blockade will remain in full force and effect, Project Freedom will be paused for a short period of time to see whether or not the agreement can be finalized and signed. We suspect the president is letting the Iranians save face.
We suspect the president is letting the Iranians save face. Wow, what an interpretation.
Did y'all hear that? This is insane.
The enemy just yesterday said they controlled the strait. That was obviously a lie. And watching the Americans escort ship after ship.
It was 2 ships. It was not a gang of ships.
Out of the Gulf, and them not being able to do anything about that was going to be humiliating. Not only were they going to lose whatever military prestige.
So what they're saying is that we called it off. Fox News said we called Operation Freedom off because we didn't want to humiliate Iran.
They had left in the region.
I hope people understand what Jesse's arguing. Jesse is arguing that Trump is doing this. Trump is chickening out because he's so nice. He didn't want to embarrass the Iranians by crushing them so badly. Does anyone believe Trump wouldn't want to embarrass his enemies? That's Trump's primary goal.
Their negotiators weren't going to be able to fight for their position.
No, this is not. You said, is this the smaller Democrat version of Candace Owens? No. No, it's not. Why do you say that? Because I have an opinion? I'm just giving my opinion. You can give your opinion just as long as you're respectful. But the moment you're disrespectful, Flame, you'll be removed. Let's go. Yeah, like...
After they lost their last...
Let him rock out as long as he don't get too disrespectful.
Last bargaining chip. The president must know what he's doing.
He must know what he's doing. This must be the explanation. This is quite literally cult behavior.
All right, let's check in on Fox News and see how they are reporting President.
So there's more than one person, checking out Fox News and seeing what they're saying. Fox News is something else. Let's go.
Trump pausing Project Freedom in the Strait of Hormuz. Spoiler alert, it's like a different reality.
Fox News alert, the president says based on the
it is definitely a different reality.
Request of Pakistan and other countries, we have mutually agreed that while the blockade will remain in full force and effect, Project Freedom will be...
So, Flame, what you saying? So click it. So click what? Click what? Thank you. Shut up for nothing, which all Americans know what America was. Please don't forget America first, and then you said you were above Americans. You got to say that one more time, John.
Paused for a short period of time to see whether or not the agreement can be finalized and signed. We suspect the president is letting the Iranians save face. The enemy just yesterday said they controlled the strait. That was obviously a lie.
I mean,
David, I'm not even going to repeat that. You can't. Y'all can't do that. Y'all got to be nice.
We can argue whether or not Iran has control of the strait, but the Strait of Hormuz is shut down. And that's the thing that really matters. Like, no, Iranian ships are not able to exit and enter freely due to the U.S. blockade. But the bigger problem here is that due to Iran's actions,
that part, nobody could get through the straits.
Nobody is moving through the Strait of Hormuz.
And watching the Americans escort ship after ship out of the Gulf. And then
why y'all laughing? Because I said, no, I can't say that. I'm not saying that. They're not busting up in my house. Get down. You're going to jail.
Them not being able to do anything about that was going to be humiliating.
Okay, technically he's right, but probably made it seem like it was more. Ship after ship. There were two ships.
Stop, yeah.
We escorted through in the last 24 hours. 2 U.S. destroyers went through the Strait of Hormuz in the Persian Gulf, extracted 2 U.S.
It's your Chinese order, you silly David.
U.S. flagged vessels under fire, like crazy situation there. But that was it. Like, other commercial vessels were fired upon, a bunch of others turned back. If there was any more than those 2 U.S. vessels that were brought out under Project Freedom, that was not announced by the Pentagon, not announced by the State Department, the White House, or even...
Mason, what you mad? You mad? Mason said, just seen 3 violations on this live. Watch this. Anybody that got anything incorrect in this, just delete the comments. Bye. What's his name? Get him up out of here. Thank you. Delete any misspelled cuss words and delete any comments that y'all may have had. This, that one. Delete that.
Sitcom or Fox News. It was 2 from what I've seen.
Not only were they going to lose whatever military prestige they had left in the region, their negotiators weren't going to be able to fight for their position after they lost their last bargaining chip.
So this last bargaining chip, if we're talking about the Strait of Hormuz, Iran is kind of locked in on it. They just rolled out yesterday the Persian Gulf Strait Authority, a website with an email address for ships in the region to notify them so they can coordinate passage with the IRGC and possibly pay tolls. So that's the Iranian leverage that is still very much in place today.
The commander-in-chief must believe that the Iranians are serious about surrendering.
You hear that? It's just like, this is insane. I don't even see how he does it with a straight face.
If he's going to pause Project Freedom for the sake of the deal. Because you could also continue Project Freedom during the negotiations.
Yes. See, that's where all these questions come from, is if this is leverage, why are we turning off the leverage before we get any concessions at the negotiating table? Almost, getting there.
You do want to get these foreign ships moving. The president must know what he's doing. And we're about to find out how insane in the brain the regime really is.
Then the old...
This literally backfired today on them big time. Let's go.
Fallback of just trust the plan, 7D chess. And the problem there is there's no debating it because it's just it's like religion in a sense, saying like, you don't know about this thing and I can't prove this thing, but it's there and you need to believe in it. The problem is we've been changing the plan frequently.
We've been changing the plan since day one.
Like yesterday at this time, Project Freedom was the plan. And the administration was in the process of getting people on board and selling this to the American people. And then while that was still being rolled out, we shifted to something.
Here's the thing. When they announced it, the Americans we were not overwhelmed or overjoyed about it. They were like, what?
Entirely different. And now it's negotiations. It must be part of a plan. So yeah, Fox News.
Honestly, yesterday I said I thought it was a good idea. I feel bad for those ones that stranded over there that have nothing to do with this.
Right now, the way they're presenting this is unique, to say the least.
Just 1 hour before Axios started publishing
Now, this is the guy whoever ended up with this 1 billion before he said that he was striking the deal. So insider trading, maybe. Listen to this.
very strange reports that a deal between the United States and Iran was imminent. Massive oil trades hit the markets. At 3:40 a.m. today, 70 minutes before this report dropped, nearly 10,000 contracts worth of crude oil shorts were taken.
10,000 contracts worth of crude oil. So it may be market manipulation. Every time he makes an announcement about a deal, this happens. But here's the thing. Who is it? And is it someone in the same room?
Without any major news, equating to almost $1 billion. This is a suspiciously large trade to be taken.
And will there ever be an investigation? That's what I want to know. Diamond Gang, thanks for hitting the like. Can I get 20 more, please and thank you, please and thank you. It helps keep me in the algorithm, please. If you would like to support the channel, the Cash App is pinned. Let's go.
Taking place at 3:40 in the morning when there's no volume. Then at 5:40 a.m., 70 minutes later, Axios released the report saying the United States is close to a memorandum of understanding to end the war.
I don't think they're going to investigate it either, David. I really don't. They do what they want. This is insane. I've never seen an administration like this.
By 7 a.m., oil prices fell over 12%, with these crude oil shorts gaining approximately $125 million. Minutes later, Iran launched the Persian Gulf Strait Authority website, and oil prices surged 8%. Here's a look at the chart. As you can see, at around 3:40 a.m., there's a massive spike in volume, which is not normal because it's in the middle of the night. And according to an advisor to Iran's supreme leader, there was never a deal to begin with. The entire story might have been made up.
Because Iran said they were like, we don't know nothing about a deal. We don't know anything about it.
He said Axios text is Americans' wish list until it becomes reality. Axios has done this 5 times in the past 19 days, and almost every time, it seems like there's suspicious trading activity taking place right before the announcements. Additionally, each of these stories are coming from the same reporter named Barak Ravid, who has deep sources in the White House and Israeli intelligence.
Breaking.
Oh, wow. All right, let's go, Diamond Gang. Hold on.
News yesterday, Iran ordered a U.S. warship to turn around and back away from the Strait of Hormuz.
Now, remember, I said we had conflicting stories, okay? They said that the boats got all the way through, the two, okay? There's reports that they turned around. Who do we believe? Do we believe President Trump or do we believe Iran? Let's go.
And the American ship complied instantly. Didn't the U.S. say they dominated the Hormuz and they had a complete blockade? Now we see them retreating from Iranian warnings. I said it yesterday. Iran is flexing and it's showing. Then you have little Marco Rubio talking to the press and saying we're asking the UN to call on Iran to stop blowing up ships, remove the mines, and allow humanitarian relief. If the international community can't rally behind this.
The UN definitely said that they would get involved. However, they did say after the war, and I guess because they're calling it and saying that the war is over, they want the UN. No, what the UN means is when it's totally over. No threats of bombing. The deal is made, signed, sealed, delivered. Then they'll come in and help clear those mines. So I don't know what Rubio was talking about. Let's go.
This and solve something so straightforward that I don't know what the utility of the UN system is. Is this guy for real? The UN? Now that your military can't defeat Iran, we are turning to the UN, the same UN that you guys don't listen to, the same UN that you veto every resolution that would help the Palestinians gain a state and have a seat at the UN. Now you want international law to work because you can't beat them militarily. Operation Project Freedom, which launched 2 days ago on Monday with the U.S. escorting any ships that needed escorting through the Hormuz, got canceled just 2 days after being in effect. Again, Iran flexed and the U.S. backed down real quick. How weak does the U.S. look after this war? What a rough 2 months it has been for the U.S. We went from being the most
It seems like it's been longer than 2 months.
powerful nation in the world militarily to absolutely nothing. Iran has become the power of the Middle East. Trump and Netanyahu did not play their cards right at all.
Another thing that I think that hurt us is that purge. We had years of experience in there. And that purge, when Pete Hegseth did that mass firing, that hurt us.
Kobesi letter is reporting that the U.S. and Iran are nearing a 14-point memorandum of understanding to end the war. The deal would include Iran committing moratorium on uranium enrichment, the U.S. lifting its sanctions and releasing billions.
And that right there is insane too, because at first there was a space and opportunity to talk about the enriched uranium. Now it's completely off the table. It's completely off the table. Okay, let's go. You said, why are we not doing that? Why bother the UN? This site is pure propaganda. No, it's not. This is what I do. I gather my clips and I get them together, and it's what I see, how I see the war is going. All opinions are respected here. You just can't be disrespectful. You don't have to agree with the way that I'm viewing it through my eyes. You don't have to. You just can't be disrespectful. You can say whatever. You can say you love Trump. You can say whatever in the chat.
And frozen Iranian funds, both sides lifting restrictions around transit through the Strait of Hormuz and a 15-year duration on Iran's moratorium on uranium enrichment.
This is my opinion.
Enrichment, an end to the war, and the beginning of a 30-day negotiation period. It sounds optimistic. Even Trump posted on Truth Social this morning saying a deal is in sight. As soon as that deal was announced, oil crashed to $90 a barrel with the great news.
That's it. As soon as he said, every time he announced it.
New York Post said that Trump told them it's too soon to start preparations for signing the peace deal. And oil shot back up to $95 a barrel. So nothing is concrete until
That's not a coincidence.
We have a final agreement and approved by both sides, signed and delivered. Let's stay tuned to see what happens next.
This story just keeps getting more interesting. New reports suggest.
Here we go. Iran is going to say we knew nothing about a deal. Nothing.
Suggests that Israel wasn't even aware of the supposed deal between the United States and Iran that was almost reached this morning. This magical deal was going to end the war and open up the Strait of Hormuz, but Israel, on the other hand, was actively preparing for an escalation in fighting, according to a source familiar with the matter. Iran is now calling this report out, saying it's pure speculation, and even going as far as claiming that actually.
You said the war benefited a tiny group of people. Do me a favor. Is it Boladine? Put in the chat who you think it benefited the most. The tiny group of people. I think that it definitely benefit Russia. I think who else it may have benefited? Russia for sure. China. Yeah.
Serves as a tool for White House market manipulation. Iran has consistently rejected these types of proposals.
That too. Okay. You said the wealthy elite and billionaires. I agree. I agree. You said Iran still has different fighting to control Iran. Okay. You said basically you said Israel. Uh-huh. Yep, it definitely did benefit them. China, possibly North and South Korea. Yep. Basically out of enemies. All right, let's go.
Saying they won't even talk about the nuclear issue until the war is over. An Iranian source even said that no new messages have been exchanged between Iran and the U.S. so far, and Iran hasn't responded to the latest American draft. This is the reporter who's published each of the 5 Axios stories, claiming a deal was about to happen when it never did. He's the Washington correspondent for Israel's
That's that same guy he was talking about earlier.
Channel 12 News, and author of a book called Trump's Peace. Each of these 5 times, there were some very suspicious trades taking place in the stock market right before the reports got released. But the FBI is investigating a journalist who exposed Kash Patel's drinking addiction.
Yes, and I have that. They're saying that that journalist, they're on her. They're trying to say that she didn't have any intel. So let's go.
Instead.
So Axios is reporting again that the United States is closer than ever to a deal with Iran to end the war. I'm not going to go into the details because this is like the 10th time they've said this, and it has not panned out, and it's never been.
I had to show y'all, nobody is believing this because this is like the 10th time. Let's go.
Actually close. But apparently this Axios report lines up with President Trump calling off Project Freedom, saying we're
EJ, you said war has always been a moneymaker. Yeah, and his sons is making tons of money off of those drones. Cash is a drone. Let's go.
very, very close to some sort of negotiated settlement. Now, this seems to have caught everyone off guard. The Israelis, they leaked to Reuters. They said they had no idea that a peace plan was this close to being done. And they, in fact, were preparing for an escalation in the fighting, which makes sense given what we've seen in recent days, right? When Project Freedom was announced, the U.S. kind of assistance of commercial ships through the Strait of Hormuz, what we have seen since then is Iran fired on, I think it's 4 or 5 different commercial vessels at this point. I think another one got hit this morning. We had 2 U.S. destroyers push through the strait, coming under Iranian drone and missile attack the entire way. Iran went after a number of facilities in the UAE. So yes, it kind of seemed like the next step there was U.S. or Israel would respond militarily.
And I swear, I thought last night, was that last night? No, I didn't go on last night, but the day before. Or was it? Well, anyway, yeah, the day before. I just knew that I was going to wake up and it was going to be crazy because the UAE vowed retaliation.
To this announcement that there's a peace plan in the works, Iran has essentially said, what? So they've confirmed that there is a proposal that has been sent their way. They said, quote, and this is Tasnim News, so Iranian state media, quote, despite claims by American media about Iran and the U.S. nearing a final one-page agreement to end the war, Iran has not yet given an official response to the latest American text, which contains some unacceptable clauses. You can say the same thing.
But here we go with this. As long as that blockade is up, somebody's going to have to make a move. Somebody's going to have to make a move because they're standing 10 toes down. Until we move that blockade, they're not agreeing to anything.
Like before the war began, and at the 1-week mark, and at the 3-week mark, and at the 10-week mark.
And that's what's so messed up, David. You said the 3 blind mice will be sent to negotiate for the USA. I played a piece the other day, and they said that the Iranians had all different types of people there, and those 3, they had no knowledge. Like, they knew nothing.
Like, it's the same story over and over and over again. There's no indication that anything has changed materially on the ground. Like, nothing drastically changed in the last, honestly, since the ceasefire went into place to spark some sort of all of a sudden negotiated settlement that Iran is going to give in on any number of things.
Right. And the blockade was originally placed there to force them to the table. And it hasn't.
So, yeah, I don't know. Maybe Axios is telling the truth this time, but they're like 0 for 9 at this point. So still worth bringing up. There's talks of talk.
And I really do, guys. I believe that if Trump didn't felt like, it wouldn't hurt him, as far as the midterms, I believe he would have been dropped a bomb on them.
I guess.
Inzamam, break down what we know about this reported memo.
Oh, yeah, I'm almost at 100 likes. Can I get 15 more likes, please, 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 and thank you.
Well, Anna, let's be clear. This is an initial kind of proposal that's come from the US, worked up with mediators Pakistan, and is being handed over to Iran. Now, I've not seen specifically what's inside this memo, but there is some reporting from Axios. But firstly, the Pakistanis have been telling me today, sources within Pakistan who are linked with the mediation, that the prospect of a proposal to end the war is very likely in the coming days. So a sign of positivity. Now, what's inside?
Okay, a sign of positivity. This deal, this is going to be something else. And President Trump is going to be criticized if they remain in control of the straits. If we walk away without making a deal with the enriched uranium, he's going to be criticized highly. So it's like, damn if he do, damn if he don't. Let's go.
This specific deal? Well, Axios are saying that there will be a declaration to end the war in the region. This will then start a 30-day period of negotiations on a detailed agreement to open the Strait of Hormuz.
Sandra said, this is a spiritual problem. Israel blowed up the bridges. Yeah, I seen that. Axio very rarely reports truth. At least that's my experience. Thank you, K Skull. I'll know who not to listen to. I appreciate that. Listen, guys, let me just say this. When I worked for the bank for 14 years, and every morning I used to get up, drink my coffee, and watch the news. The news became very depressing. So once I left the banking world, I stopped watching it. So all of this is new to me. All of this, what I'm watching now, is new to me. So any information I get, I appreciate.
Also includes a limitation to Iran's nuclear program, potentially stopping enriching uranium to create a nuclear bomb for around 12 to 15 years. This will also lift US sanctions on Iran. It will have restrictions on shipping through the Strait of Hormuz, and the US naval blockade would be gradually lifted during that 30-day period.
Boom. So y'all hear that? Within the 30-day period, the U.S. blockade will be gradually lifted. That's what's up. Let's go.
And the US have said that if negotiations collapse, then US forces would be able to restore the blockade or resume military.
So did y'all hear that? Declares an end to the war in the region, start a 30-day period of negotiations on a detailed agreement to open the straits, limit Iran's nuclear program, lift U.S. sanctions, restrictions on ships through the strait, and the U.S. naval blockade would be gradually lifted during that 30-day period. If the negotiation collapses, U.S. forces won't be able to restore the blockade or resume military actions. What y'all think about that? What y'all think about that deal? I like it. Let's go.
Action. And President Trump has come out today and essentially spoken about this in a Truth Social post. He says that assuming Iran agrees to give what has been agreed to, which is perhaps a bigger...
This deal seems fair. What y'all think? If it does not succeed, then we can restore it if we want to. Wait, what you mean? Doug, put it in the chat for me. Because it didn't sound that way. All right, let's go.
assumption, the already legendary epic fury will be at an end. He said that if they don't agree, the bombing starts, and it will be sadly at a much higher level and intensity as it was before. Look, I think this appears.
For some reason, because of the blockade being lifted, and that, you know, it's not like they can't have anything to do with that, their enriched uranium. I think they'll go for it. I don't know. I think they will.
Is to be a positive step for now, but it does have to be received with a lot of caution, Anna, because we've been here before with proposals and with frameworks, and then we've gone one step forward.
EJ said, peace is never about the fairest deal. Go into the details on that one.
Forward and two steps back. I think what is a positive sign is that Pakistan is working incredibly hard behind the scenes.
Yes, they are. Shots out to Pakistan. Shots out. I've been saying this ever since they got involved. I don't know what we would have done without them. Shots out to them. They are like, they trying to make it happen.
With Iran and with the US to get the two sides to the negotiation table. I don't think they'd be doing that if they didn't feel that there was some prospects of a peace deal in the coming days and weeks ahead.
I need 10 more likes. 10 more likes. Come on, y'all. 11 more likes, please. And thank you. If you would like to support the channel, please, the Cash App is pinned. Now, this is what Prince. I'm getting sleepy, y'all. This is what the president had to say. He didn't say too much, but this had me cracking up because this lady asked him, one of the reporters asked him about the enriched uranium, and just listen to this.
Think about the extracting the uranium from Iran. How will you get it?
Y'all hear him say, we're going to get it. Uh-oh. Hold on. Do you want to allow this? Hold on, y'all. He said, we're going to get it. Let's go. He said, we're going to get the enriched uranium. And then they said, is there a deadline? He said, there's never a deadline. That surprised me. That surprised me, him saying that.
The status right now is part of a pattern where the U.S., because Trump is desperate for an off-ramp, is trying to force through a deal. What we don't know is what...
Diamond Gang, we got about another 20 minutes. I'm going to go through some little things that other things that happen outside of the war.
Concessions the Iranians might be willing to make. It's clear that the Trump administration already is making concessions. They announced this as a regime change war. They said they want unconditional surrender. That hasn't happened. And the Iranians have shown that that is not going to happen. So where things stand right now is it's highly possible that Donald Trump and Benjamin Netanyahu are going to resume the bombing of Iran, that they may do another round of assassination.
Listen, I don't want that to happen. I'm sorry. I just don't. I'm going to hope for this deal.
Of Iranian leaders. That's always a possibility. It's also possible that we're heading toward a deal.
Now, that's what Benjamin Netanyahu want to do. He wants to go back in and unalive the rest of the leaders.
That Trump is going to try to spin as a victory, as though he should be praised for putting out small portions of the massive intense fires that he himself started. The Iranian perspective is that they are very quick to remind anyone that twice in a single year, the United States claimed to be negotiating with Iran, only to turn around to massive bombing of Iran.
That's what I was talking about earlier. This right here. This right here. In the midst of negotiations, bombing them. We did this last year, and we did this 2 months ago.
Even when there was another round of negotiations scheduled on the books, the Chinese government is going to be a major figure in whatever happens next. The Iranian foreign minister, Abbas Araghchi, arrived in Beijing early on Wednesday morning and is holding high-level talks with Iranian officials. Trump is scheduled to go to China in roughly 1 week for a state visit.
Yeah, Trump is scheduled to go The foreign prime minister of Iran went today. He was with them today. And China said, hey, maybe when I get Trump face to face, we could figure something out. So let's go.
Visit where he's going to be meeting with Xi Jinping. They have, the Chinese government has perhaps the single largest stake in what happens in the Strait of Hormuz. And the Chinese leadership has been increasingly outspoken in its condemnation of what the U.S. is doing in Iran, the responsibility of the U.S.
I told you guys that earlier in this live stream. They did get through. They let us know, listen, we've been doing business with them and we're going to continue. And they got through the straits with no problem.
U.S. For creating the crisis that exists in energy markets and the flow of supplies through the Strait of Hormuz. So the U.S. narrative on this, which is often sort of pushed through with the conveyor belt media outlets that are preferred by the Trump administration, often is just leaks of the wish casting that the Trump White House does, combined with this attempt to try to make it seem like the Iranians are the ones obstructing a deal, when the reality is this was a war of choice from the very beginning.
That part, and I'm going to say that again. Listen, gang, if we get a deal, I'm going to do one more live stream, and I'm going to close this chapter, and we're going to celebrate. I don't know what I'm going to cover next, but yeah.
Hey, this is breaking news. Central Command says that an Iranian flagged ship was attempting to run the U.S. naval blockade, and a U.S. Navy F-18 Super Hornet launched from the USS Abraham Lincoln and struck the ship.
That happened. I was not able to find any more information, so I'm going to say it's safe to assume that it didn't escalate anything. I tried to get everything in real time. What I don't cover tonight, what I'll do is when I get off, I'll start looking, and if there's something that I missed tonight, I'll cover it the next time I go live. Let's go.
Trump held a press conference today.
I've been waiting on this one. This is the press conference with those kids. I need 9 more likes, y'all. Please and thank you. Please and thank you. All right, let's go.
Signing a proclamation to restore the presidential youth fitness test. And this is something Obama got rid of, so he's bringing it back. And he said some really crazy things during.
Listen, while I'm playing this, I want y'all to go ahead and vote. I should have put a poll up. I want you to put a 1 in the chat if you would allow your kids to be around President Trump. Put a 2 in the chat if you're like, oh, hell no. Let's go.
The whole thing was a complete and utter disaster for him. I don't think he even realizes it. But listen to what he said in front of these youth, these children about.
Wait, y'all, don't vote yet. Y'all got to hear what he said to the kids.
What was happening in Iran. It's violent, horrible stuff. And this is what he was saying in front of these kids.
Listen, I might not leave the vertical world. Y'all are funny as I wanted y'all to hear what he said to the kids first. Oh my God. Y'all funny. Let's go.
They want to protest, but they don't have any guns. So you could have 200,000 people protesting and have 5 or 6 sick people with guns. And when they start shooting them right between the eyes and you see a guy fall and another one fall and you have no guns, very few people would be able to stand there. And they had snipers. They had like 4 or 5 snipers in buildings up high. And you.
Did y'all hear him? I gotta take it back. Listen to how he talking to these babies. These are not middle school kids. These are grade school kids. He's talking about popping somebody in the middle of their eye. Like, what the hell is wrong with him? Oh my God, this was bad.
Even when there was another round of negotiations.
Trump held a press conference today, signing a proclamation to restore the presidential youth fitness test. And this is something Obama got rid of, so he's bringing it back. And he said some really crazy things during this. The whole thing was a complete and utter disaster for him. I don't think he even realizes it. But listen to what he said in front of these youth, these children, about what was happening in Iran. It's violent, horrible stuff. And this is what he was saying in front of these kids.
protesting, they want to protest, but they don't have any guns. So you could have 200,000 people protesting and have 5 or 6 sick people with guns. And when they start shooting them right between the eyes and you see a guy fall and another one fall and you have no guns, very few people would be able to stand there. And they had snipers. They had like 4 or 5 snipers in buildings up high. And you're standing there and all of a sudden the guy on your left goes down. And somebody, that's what happened with a woman protest. And then all of a sudden, the woman dropped dead with a bullet right there.
Did you hear that? Did you hear that? He said with a bullet right here. I stopped it right there. He's telling babies this shit.
There, always right there. Then another woman dropped, and then the word started to spread.
And then he went on to talk about Iran and how they were going to have a nuclear weapon, and basically told these kids, you were 2 weeks away from being, you know what, unalived by Iran, had I not stepped in and stopped them. This is what he was suggesting to them.
So we would have had a...
You said lighten up? No, y'all could have let her stay. She didn't say nothing too bad. It's okay. It's okay. That's nothing to take lightly. That's nothing. I don't know if you have kids, but that is nothing to take lightly at all. Someone explaining to your kids should not have to worry about bills, about unalivements. Kids should be able to be kids. So to tell kids adult problems is disturbing to me. Kids need to stay pure in you know what I mean? They don't need to be going to bed worrying about President Trump telling them how somebody got popped in between their eyes. You couldn't have kids. You couldn't. But anyway, you can't answer because my mods got you. But yeah, let's go.
And Iran with a nuclear weapon, and maybe we wouldn't all be here right now. I can tell you the Middle East would have been gone, Israel would have been gone, and they would have trained their sights on Europe first and then us, because they're sick people.
Again, what's up, armchair? No, wait, aren't these kids? No, they're not old enough. They're not even in middle school yet. What the hell do they need to hear this for? You don't know what they see on TV because we're not in their households. And if that's what their parents want to do, then that's what their parents want to do. But there's no way that I would be telling these kids this. There's no way. There's no way. Do you have kids? What's up, armchair? Do you have kids? That's a very disturbing. And then here's the thing. When it comes to things like this, that's when you overstep the parents' boundaries. If they want their kids to know about these type of things, allow them to tell them how people get popped in their eyes and no, this is not good. This type of stuff is not even in our history books.
These are sick people.
What parents let their kids go near this guy who is an alleged PDF? Like, I don't know what some of these parents were thinking. I would never let my kid in the same room with this guy. Would you?
The way the world is today, that's too heavy for them. Like, let them kids have their innocence. Let them kids have their innocence. This is why the world is so screwed up now. And the kids grow up in their teens, robbing, stealing, and unaliving and doing all types of, because of stuff like this. Let them kids have their innocence.
Let me know in the comments. Like, share, spread the word, follow, subscribe, and I'll see you back here for the 411.
We just broke every record, and now we're going to take a hit because we have to make a journey down to Iran to take.
Like, he's literally giving them war plans. Like, he'll talk to anybody he think he can sell it to, but that's how you know how much stressed out he is. Anytime that you're having these type of adult conversations with a group of kids, this is consistently on his mind because he wants out and he has no plans.
Like the nuclear weapon, they would have had a nuclear weapon within 2 weeks. Remember, we sent that beautiful B-2 bomber in, and we blew up their.
Y'all see how them kids is looking at him? Please, Diamond Gang, I need 9 more likes. 9 more, 9 more. Get me to oh no, 6 more. Oh, I'm there. I'm there. Thank you, gang. Thank you. Exactly. Oh, you said exactly. That doesn't bother me because look at the game. I agree the games kids are playing. That's what I'm saying. We don't know that though, K-Skull. Because when my grandkids are here, ain't none of that pow stuff over here. I don't play that. I don't know what they do when they after their moms. That's what they do. But when they here, ain't no violence here. So just because some of them play it in their games and some of them, may witness it, it's okay to keep on and keep on and keep on talking about it. Let them kids have their innocence.
Nuclear potential, it was obliterated for those that are not aware, and to a point where it would take them weeks to dig down, and we wouldn't let them dig down. We have our eyes on it all the time. But it was a very important thing. So we would have had
that part, Michael. Kids are gold. Be sensitive, loving. They are. That's our future. That's our future.
Had an Iran with a nuclear weapon.
Let me get this straight. The Secret Service can shoot a guy outside the White House running away.
Oh, yeah, this was a piece. I meant to get the second half of this, but this is why people believe that the dinner was staged.
From them, but they can't shoot a guy running towards them at point blank range at the White House Correspondents' Dinner? Make that make sense.
We have major updates regarding the upcoming.
Sorry, guys. I meant to get the second half of that, but I didn't. I'm so sorry. But now we are going to get into what's going on with the elections. And yeah, I'll let you guys be the judge.
Elections. As the Trump administration and Donald Trump ramp up efforts to impact the elections, Trump is now suggesting canceling or suspending elections that are ongoing. Quote, if they...
How do y'all feel about that? He said he don't care if they went and voted already or not, because he knows that the Republicans are going to do horrible. So let's listen.
Have to vote twice, so be it, so that Republicans can gerrymander various states across the country. He wants to pick up as much as 20 House seats. Comes as we're learning about 42,000 people voted absentee in Louisiana before that election was suspended. And now, according to the New York Times, the Trump administration is seeking the names of all Georgia poll workers from Fulton County from 2020. Here is the president's statement saying, we cannot allow there to be an election that is conducted unconstitutionally simply for the convenience of state legislatures. If they have to vote twice, so be it. The byproduct is that Republicans will receive more than 20 House seats in the upcoming midterm. Some Georgia Republicans, like Mike Collins, they're calling for the suspension of the election in Georgia. And it all comes...
What y'all think about this? Put it in the chat. I think Trump's third term might be the one he becomes king. There is no third term, but you know what? He may refuse to leave. He may refuse to leave because he has it in his mind that he will run a third term.
As Trump is now seeking the names of all the poll workers from Fulton County. Spread the word. Follow along for all the news you need to know about. More to come soon.
Trump is now openly calling for states to cancel elections already in progress so Republicans can redraw new maps before November. Trump posted on...
I'm going to be honest. I don't even think this is going to help me. Can I say something about what you're saying? Why the pastor's kids always end up wild and they be shot. That's true. I'm not even going to hold you. That is true. And I'm not saying shelter them, but be careful the way the world is going if you're a kid. But guess why the world is going that way? Because we want them to grow up quick and fast. We want these kids to be microwavable. And it's sad. It's sad. You said the way the world is going, if your kids is not, your kid can be actually both. Your kids can be actually both, but it's the way you go about it. It's the way you go about it. All right, let's go.
On Truth Social that Republican-led states must.
But I definitely agree with you. I agree with you with the pastor kids. I seen a couple of them go, wow. Once they got out of the house, they went crazy.
Immediately withdraw their congressional maps following last week's Supreme Court's Voting Rights Act ruling.
You think so, K-Skull? You said that's just Trump trolling the leftists. You think? Okay.
He openly endorsed the cancellation of ongoing elections to push through new gerrymanders. His words, quote, "If they have to vote twice, so be it." Trump claimed that the redistricting push would deliver Republicans more than 20 House seats in the midterms. Louisiana has already suspended its May 16th primary and announced it will not count votes already cast for the U.S. House. Trump personally called Tennessee Governor Bill Lee to push for a special session. Lee called it in the next day. Pressure for new maps is building in Alabama, Georgia, Mississippi, and South Carolina. What Trump is now proposing goes further.
Do you think it's going to make a difference, though, K-Skull?
Further than any redistricting fight in history, a sitting president is publicly directing states to void elections already in progress to produce a more favorable map for his party 6 months before a midterm.
Breaking news right now, the FBI is now raiding.
Y'all ready for this? They literally, and Fox News was tipped off and they was already there with their cameras. This is crazy. Oh, come on, y'all. I need 6 more likes. Come on, y'all. I thought I was there and I'm not. Let me get 6 more likes, please and thank you. Please, please, please.
The offices of the Virginia Democratic State Senator who led the effort to redistrict Virginia and drew Donald Trump and Republican ire. Fox News, which is conveniently on the scene and was tipped off seemingly by the FBI ahead of this raid, says that Luis Lucas's offices are currently being raided as part of a, quote, corruption probe, that the FBI is serving multiple search warrants that have.
Right after this, I have a piece from Obama. He had an interview. It was good. It was really good. You said, I don't believe he would run again. He is. He's getting old, but that doesn't mean he won't be a figure in politics. That's a fact. That's a fact.
Been approved by a judge at her office and at a cannabis dispensary next door. Luis Lucas has been a thorn in the side of Virginia Republicans for a long time, and she was the reason why Virginia successfully passed that constitutional amendment. And just about a month after, not even 2 weeks after it passed, and
Obama's going to speak about this, how he is using like the Attorney General's office and the feds to go after his rivals. This is not cool.
FBI is now raiding her offices. I'll have more updates for you very soon. As always, spread the word. Follow along for all the news you need to know about. There'll be more to come soon.
That's them going in her house, y'all. This is insane, man. Better watch out. You don't agree with Trump, you might get roughed up, put in jail. That's not funny. It's not funny. This is scary.
Does Trump have a point, in fairness? This is a real risk of a nuclear Iran that we need to address.
This gets to something larger, which is we're living in a time and a period that is so binary, where it's impossible, it seems, for people to hold multiple ideas in their heads at the same time. And so, yes, from, I think, perspective of the United States and many countries in the region and around the world.
No, seriously, when you see an entire administration just into some unsavory corruption, and they all do, but this is just out and out, they just wilding. I'm sorry.
Nuclear Iran's not a good thing, which is why administration after administration has looked at how do we deal with this. But the conclusions that previous administrations drew were different than the ones that President Trump drew.
Thank you, Michael. I am. People, you can have your own opinions, and I am the new freedom of speech queen. You can say what you want to say in this chat. You just can't be disrespectful. All opinions will be respected, including mine. And yeah, this is mixed with facts, receipts, in my opinion. My live streams are mixed with facts, receipts, and opinions. If I say something, I'm going to bring the receipt.
During the Obama administration, when we got the JCPOA, the Iran nuclear deal, of course, we looked at military options. But we concluded then that if we exercised a military option, one, there could be all of these second and third order consequences, including the Strait of Hormuz, including attacks on our forces and our people in the region, including attacks on our partners in the region. And to what gain? We assessed back then, it's been publicly reported.
Remember, he was part of the Obama, I told you guys in the beginning of this live stream, he was a part of the Obama administration. And he's going to tell you, they assessed closing the straits to where this administration never gave it a thought. And that's why we're stuck in a situation. He wants out. He wants to go to Cuba next, remember?
And so, yes, from, I think, perspective of the United States and many countries in the region and around the world, nuclear Iran is not a good thing, which is why administration after administration has looked at how do we deal with this. But the conclusions that previous administrations drew were different than the ones that President Trump drew. During the Obama administration, when we got the JCPOA, the Iran nuclear deal, of course, we looked at military options. But we concluded then that if we exercised a military option, one, there could be all of these second and third order consequences, including the Strait of Hormuz.
Bingo. Did y'all hear him? Did y'all hear him? Let me take it back for the people in the back. When they was putting together that deal, that was a thought. What if they closed the straits? To where this administration, guess what they said? We didn't think they would do something like that. What? What? My. Let me play this one more time for the people in the back.
And so, yes, from, I think, perspective of the United States and many countries in the region and around the world, nuclear Iran is not a good thing, which is why administration after administration has looked at how do we deal with this. But the conclusions that previous administrations drew were different than the ones that President Trump drew. During the Obama administration, when we got the JCPOA, the Iran nuclear deal, of course, we looked at military options. But we concluded then that if we exercised a military option, one, there could be all of these second and third order consequences, including the Strait of Hormuz, including attacks on our forces and our people in the region, including attacks on our partners in the region. And to what gain? We assessed back then, it's been publicly reported, that in all likelihood, if we went at the program, we might gain a couple of years at best, that Iran would rebuild, and it would rebuild deeper underground, it would be harder to get at, and we'd be right back where we started. On the other hand, doing the hard work of diplomacy, getting a deal, bought us, in the case of the JCPOA, 10, 15, 20 years, depending on the different constraints.
Boom. Y'all hear that? I need 2 more likes, please and thank you. 2 more likes to get me to 100 likes. Please subscribe to the channel. Keep your notifications on. I will eventually not be going vertical all the time. Certain topics I will, but pretty soon I will be going horizontal only, so I can cater to my core audience. You said he just got us out on a figueroa with a broken heel. Okay, let's go. Oh, thank you, Terrell. Did you hit the like? Nice to meet you. Thank you. Okay, let's go.
And at that point, had the Iranians decided, okay, the deal is now sunsetted, the different provisions have now expired, we're going to go for a nuclear program, a nuclear weapon even. What?
Thank you, Terrell. I'm at 101. I appreciate y'all. Thanks. Woo, that was hard. Woo. All right, let's go.
Typically happens is you either renegotiate or extend, and if they don't want to do that, well, the military option is still there, except with a lot.
Did you hear that? You either renegotiate or extend the same deal. You don't rip it up. Remember? Donald Trump ripped it up. You either extend or negotiate. Remember, the military option is still there. I got to take that back. Listen to this part.
And it would rebuild deeper underground. It would be harder to get at, and we'd be right back where we started. On the other hand, doing the hard work of diplomacy, getting a deal, bought us, in the case of the JCPOA, 10, 15, 20 years, depending on the different constraints. And at that point, had the Iranians decided, okay, the deal is now sunsetted, the different provisions have now expired, we're going to go for a nuclear program, a nuclear weapon even. What typically happens is you either renegotiate or extend, and if they don't want,
You either renegotiate or extend. We didn't even have a deal to renegotiate because he tore it up.
to do that, well, the military option is still there, except with a lot more information, because during this time, you've had inspectors.
Bingo. He tore the deal up and he pulled everybody. We had oversight. We had inspectors down there. We got to watch them up close and personal. See? Ay, ay, ay.
Looking all throughout Iran at what they're up to, where they're up to it. And so we would have been fine. The only thing that the Iranians really got was money. Not insignificant, except most of the money was theirs. They paid for the deal. It was their frozen assets that we had bottled up from the sale of oil.
Bingo. And guess what? I guarantee you, their deal, Trump's deal, will mock Obama's. However, they're going to unfreeze more money and give them more of their money back, and a couple of extra other things too. So we're going to end up in a worse deal than the Obama. So
that we released to them. Lifting sanctions on investment in Iran proved to be not much of anything, because even without the sanctions, very few people wanted to invest in Iran because it was such an uncertain place to do business. So that was the basic assessment. When President Trump and the Israelis went at the nuclear program last June.
We could have kept the Obama deal. We could have kept the Obama deal. They're going to walk away with a lot more in this deal. I guarantee you.
My concern back then was, okay, this is going to be exactly what we were concerned with. It's at best, a temporary fix.
That part, Trump's regime will offer the same deal as Obama. I guarantee it. But the Iranians will get more than what Obama had in his deal. I guarantee it. We're going to lift the sanctions. We're going to give them a lot more of their money back than what Obama did. And we're going to put them in a way better position. So this is crazy. All of this to give them a better deal.
And it could actually ultimately make the problem worse, because they will rebuild. They'll build.
When we had the opportunity to seize that uranium, they were at the table, damn near agreeing to it, to dilute it. And to sell it as something else. Israel hit and we followed suit. This is sad.
Build it underground in ways we can't get at so easily. And maybe we'll buy a year, maybe we'll buy 2 years. But if you can get a diplomatic deal, you might buy a lot longer. Yes, you have to pay for it. That's the challenge. But I think that's still a better bargain than this military deal with all of these unintended consequences that many of us gamed out, but apparently were not factored in this time.
It's this struggle between.
Now we're going to get into what Obama had to say, and then a breakdown of how they feel about what Obama had to say.
In the idea that we, the people, includes everybody.
During a taped interview on The Late Show with Stephen Colbert, Colbert asked former President Barack Obama about the expanding powers of the executive branch and what powers he believes whoever is the president should not have.
The White House shouldn't be able to direct the Attorney General to go around prosecuting whoever the president wants to prosecute.
Right, it's technically it's under the executive branch.
Technically,
the norm is that it's independent.
The idea is that the Attorney General is the people's lawyer. It's not the president's consigliere.
Bingo. This is just why Pam Bondi lost her job. Trump said, "You are not getting my enemies quick enough." This is crazy. We got about maybe 10 more minutes and I'll take comments from the chat. Maybe less than that.
You can't have a situation in which whoever's in charge of the government starts using that to go after their political enemies or reward their friends.
Obama did not mention President Trump by name, but he nodded to critics who say Trump has leaned on the role of Attorney General and the Justice Department to pursue investigations into his political adversaries, including former FBI Director James Comey and New York Attorney General Letitia James. Obama also spoke about the president's power as commander-in-chief.
There had been a whole series of norms that were in place to ensure that you weren't trying to make that military loyal to you as opposed to the Constitution.
Obama also seemed to criticize the president for using the office to advance business interests for his family and friends.
Yeah. Everybody that's in there did not get in there based off of their credentials.
A good policy that I'd like to see followed is that the President of the United States shouldn't have a bunch of side hustles that those companies.
They're making millions off of this war. His sons, this is insane.
And foreign entities can invest in.
How much of that is just jealous that you didn't think of selling a sneaker? Because your sneakers were flown. You know that, right?
Even when joking about Colbert's future, the former president appeared to take a jab.
How dumb do you think it is for people to say that I should run for president?
Well, the bar has changed.
That is true.
A recent Washington Post ABC News.
I love Obama. That's the last president I ever loved.
Ipsos poll on Trump's approval rating found only 37% of Americans approve of his job performance. This interview dropped just 6 months before a contentious midterm election when the U.S. is wrapped up in a war with Iran and gas prices.
Yeah, I liked Bill. I liked him. I ain't even gonna lie. I like Bush, this son. I just he was cool. That's all I'm gonna say on that. He was all right.
Continue to climb. We have asked the White House for a response to Obama, but have not heard back this.
In a recent interview.
Yeah, he do. I said it was Rubio. Sorry, I can't remember his name. It's too many names, but this guy right here that's going after Comey. I can't think of his name right now.
Former President Barack Obama said, and I quote, "The White House shouldn't be able to direct the Attorney General to go around prosecuting whoever the president wants to prosecute." You're the Attorney General. What is your response?
Well, coincidentally, I happen to have.
I never liked Biden, and I don't like Kamala. I don't like either one. I don't know why that guy came in here accusing me of that. You don't know me.
I think a copy of our Constitution. So if we want, we can read our Constitution together. Article 2 says the executive power shall.
He need to stop. This is the guy that I showed y'all the other day that said that we should show ID in a restaurant. If we got to show ID in a restaurant, like what? What restaurant?
Will be vested in a president of the United States of America. It does not say that the attorney general stands off to the side. So I'm an acting attorney general. The attorney general is a member of the cabinet of the president of the United States. The Constitution gives the president power. So I question people in this country that suggest that President Trump,
At the end of the day, he's using the attorney general's office to go after his enemies, his political enemies. He shouldn't be doing that. Just making up stuff. Like the seashells situation is probably more than likely going to be thrown out.
as the chief executive of the United States, does not have the authority or the right or shouldn't be leading this country in all areas, including what we need to be doing to get rid of crime in this country. And so I'm not familiar with.
Here we go, just talking around, just saying anything. He just says anything.
The comments you just talked about, but to the extent that President Trump calls me and says that he thinks that we have a problem in this country, whether it's this scourge.
He better learn and learn quick, because as soon as he fail or somebody get off, he's going to lose his job like Pam Bondi.
Drugs, illegal immigration. Every American wants him to do that, and he should.
But the accusation here from the former president is that your department is now charging political adversaries of the president or perceived political adversaries of the president on his behalf to settle scores, essentially.
There's something extraordinarily rich about a Democrat suggesting that this administration is charging our political adversaries. I mean,
we've seen it. We've seen it happen.
First of all, we're not. Second of all, how about we think about what happened the past 4 years? It wasn't just President Trump that got indicted repeatedly in multiple district courts, in multiple jurisdictions, but it was also his entire administration, what was called into the grand jury. Members of his Secret Service detail had to testify in the grand jury. So I welcome criticism. Let's go. But let's see, if you're sitting in a glass house, you ought not throw stones.
We have some big news right now. CNN has uncovered.
Now, this is the last part. This is about Patel. Sorry, guys. Too many names. This is about Kash Patel, and they are going after. Oh, no, sorry. This is about Trump's health, and then the last will be about Patel. Sorry. Let's go.
Now deleted tweets of Donald Trump's Surgeon General nominee questioning his own health and his own MRI results. This is serious. So his new Surgeon General nominee, Dr. Nicole Sapir, deleted a number of tweets before being confirmed criticizing Donald Trump, RFK, Elon Musk, and more. CNN's K-File revealed that one tweet from after Donald Trump received an MRI, she said, quote, "Lots of people questioning POTUS MRI. I have questions too." She also suggested that Donald Trump is...
So it sounds like she's trying to allude that they're not telling the truth about his MRI results.
Pretending that the measles spread isn't really happening in the United States, trying to push it off until after the midterm elections, saying, quote, "Seems like they," referring to the administration, "may not want to admit that measles elimination status is gone until after midterm elections." She also criticized Donald Trump repeatedly for suggesting that Tylenol is linked to something in pregnancy, and much more. We'll see what Donald Trump has to say about this morning, but even his own Surgeon General nominee questioned his MRI results, his health. Spread the word, follow for more.
Building a ballroom at the White House will cost.
Oh, yeah. I'm so sorry. The ballroom, then Patel. So now what they're trying to do is charge the taxpayers when he said he had donors, right? So let's get into it.
$1 billion, that's with a B, and they want you, the taxpayer, to pay for it. For more than a year now, the president...
Put a 1 in the chat if you think that we should continue to pay for the rest of his ballroom. Put a 2 in the chat if you are like, nah,
has said all along that private donors would cover the full cost of this project.
From above, the construction site for the ballroom looks larger than the White House itself, and the 90,000.
Y'all hear that? So they said the ballroom looks larger than the White House itself. Gang. Mike said no. I hear you. I hear you. Okay. Everybody's saying no. I do. I pay for my wigs, boo. I'm independent. You could have left him. He being a hater. All right, let's go.
1,000 square foot project now has a new additional price tag.
Nah, you want to know who paid for my wigs? Your dad. He's blowing up my phone. I keep telling him I'm a married woman. He keeps sending me them cash apps, though.
$1 billion. Senate Republicans included the funds as part of a broader immigration enforcement bill. The taxpayer funds would go towards the East Wing Modernization Project, including unspecified above-ground and below-ground security features.
It's drone-proof, it's bulletproof glass.
President Trump suggested those upgrades are more...
You said desperate daddy. His dad pay for my wigs. I keep telling him I'm a married woman. He keep cash apping me, though.
More urgent after the alleged assassination attempt 10 days ago at the White House Correspondents' Dinner.
We need the ballroom. That's why Secret Service, that's why the military are demanding.
Meanwhile, he's saying we need the ballroom. But even if the ballroom was built, it wouldn't have happened at the White House. That was for the press. Like, ugh.
But the Senate bill says the $1 billion can't pay for, quote, non-security elements, like the actual ballroom itself, which the president repeatedly has promised he's building with private donations.
I'm paying for it. I'm paying for it. This is being financed privately. It's a donation. It's all donors.
Where the donors at? Where they at? Where they at? Michael, I'm getting sleepy. He gonna come in here with that trolling mess. Get your ass out of here. Like, what? Your daddy is paying for my wigs. And I got one for each day of the week. So he done bought me 7 of them motherfuckers. Let's go.
There's not one dime of government money going into the ballroom.
Still, Democrats balked even before the $1 billion price tag.
No, we don't need this ballroom. You want to help national security? The ballroom has nothing to do with it.
And now we have some breaking news. MS Now has just learned that the FBI is launching a criminal leak investigation into the Atlantic magazine article alleging.
So what they're trying to say is that, yeah, they're going after that, the Atlantic. They're going after her.
Heavy drinking and erratic behavior from FBI Director Kash Patel. Let's go right to MS Now Justice and Intelligence reporter Ken Delaney.
Did y'all see how he was sitting there at the Correspondents' Dinner? I'm like, bro, no urgency, no. I'm just like, this is sad.
Ken, what more do we know about this investigation?
Good morning, Anna. Well, our sources say that it's troubling on 2 fronts. One, there was no known disclosure of classified information in this long.
Michael, I kid you not. I got a blonde and like a honey blonde and bronze color one on right now.
Atlantic magazine article by the journalist Sarah Fitzpatrick, which was essentially a deeply unflattering portrait of FBI Director Kash Patel's work habits. It alleged that he engages in heavy drinking and that at times his security detail had trouble waking him up in the morning. And I should add that he obviously denies those allegations and has filed a defamation lawsuit against the Atlantic, which is ongoing, and they stand by their reporting. But no classified disclosures. And so our sources are puzzled as to how there even is a criminal leaks investigation, but they're even more troubled by what they say is a focus on the journalist, which is very unusual. There are leaks investigations all the time. They focus on the potential unauthorized disclosures by government officials. Journalists only get involved as witnesses, as a lab.
Y'all hear that? Y'all hear that? They trying to get them. All right, let's go.
Last resort, the Justice Department used to have rules that said that they have to exhaust every other method of getting information before they go to a journalist. But our sources are telling us that there is a focus now on trying to figure out who Sarah's sources were, including and up to obtaining her phone records, potentially running her name through FBI databases.
Patel is mad. You hear me? He was going to get to the bottom of who told. I'm going to be honest. I think there's some truth to it.
Taking very intrusive steps. Now, we don't know to what extent those steps have been taken. And I should add that a spokesman for Kash Patel, Ben Williamson,
that woman stood 10 toes down and said, I'm sticking to my story. Like, I'm not, yeah, it happened.
Adamantly denies that there is an investigation of this journalist, but our sources are just as adamant in saying that it's happening and that people involved in it are very troubled by it. And again, this is a new frontier here for the FBI. They have historically been very, very reluctant to take any steps that appear to be investigating journalists because they fear that it could chill the First Amendment, it could chill news gathering. But under this administration, we've seen other instances. There was, in fact, an FBI raid of a Washington Post reporter that they seized her devices. Now, she wasn't the subject.
EJ, my bodyguard.
The investigation. They've indicted a person they say that leaked information to her. This is different. We're being told here that Sarah Fitzpatrick, the Atlantic journalist, is right in the middle of this probe and that they are focusing on her in order to ferret out her source.
They're focusing on her because she stood 10 toes down and told them, like, yeah, this is real.
We have breaking developments concerning the Howard Lutnick interview with the House Oversight Committee regarding.
Guess what? They did not get, it was closed door. They did not get nothing out of Howard Lutnick. I was so hyped for his deposition. I was hyped for Pam Bondi's. Guess what? Closed door, and they said he lied. Let's go.
Regarding Jeffrey Epstein, Howard Lutnick is Donald Trump's Commerce Secretary, Cabinet Secretary, and members of Congress left the interview saying that not only did Howard Lutnick lie and be deceitful, but that if Donald Trump saw the interview, he would fire him on the spot. It was that bad. Here's what I learned from those inside the interview. Lutnick claimed that he saw and met Jeffrey Epstein on 3 separate occasions. The first is the one where we know he was at Epstein's townhome, saw the massage table.
This is the man that called Jeffrey Epstein disgusting, but then took his whole family to the damn island. Like, really?
In the mid-2000s and said he would never do business with Epstein. Then Lutnick claimed he was on Epstein's island afterwards for a lunch. He didn't know how Epstein's assistant knew that he was in the region, and that concerned him. And then the final one concerned a construction project that had to do with Lutnick's neighboring property. Those inside the room, though, say that Lutnick was intentionally deceitful and lying to members of Congress throughout the interview to avoid telling the truth. And as Ro Khanna says, quote, somebody in the administration got to him. For significant news, I'll have more.
I don't think anybody in administration got to him. He's just a liar. That's it. That's all. I don't think nobody can. I don't even think they care about what he got going on.
Updates for you soon. Spread the word. Follow along for all the news you need to know about.
The Washington Post, ABC, Ipsos poll that came out over the weekend not only showed that Donald Trump was, of course, underwater on every single issue. His best issue, border security, he's underwater by 9 points. Everything else is in the double digits underwater. But it also had one of the most shocking poll results we've ever seen on the issue of, is Donald Trump even able to serve as president of the United States? 59% of Americans do not think, according to this poll, that Trump has the mental acuity to serve as president.
Here's the thing. 59% thinks that, and I'm pretty sure a nice percentage voted for him. It's too late. I mean, anything can happen, but he's in there now. He's in there.
59% of the public says no. This man's brain is not functional enough to serve as president of the United States. So basically 60% of the public says no. Mentally, he's not fit to serve. 55% say that he is not in physical shape. He's not in good enough physical shape to serve as president of the United States. So even if his brain was functional, a majority of people would still be like, yeah, I mean, the guy can think, but his body is falling apart at the seams.
Remember, gang, he talked about Biden so bad, and he's like right there. Hey, we just got to hold on and hold tight, you know, and hope and pray that this time goes quickly, because he can't, you know what I mean? It's not like he can run again. Although I think in his mind, he thinks that there's going to be some law that's going, or something's going to change that will allow him to vote again. All right, let's go. All right, I'm looking through these comments. No, I don't. You know what? I just seen a comment where it said you want America to lose. No, I don't. But I feel like this was a war of choice. We don't have any business being here. So, you know, I think that this was bad. This was all bad. Sorry, guys. I'm trying to get down to where you guys are. I haven't looked at these comments since I started this live stream. You said, let me put this one up. I don't even know why he would want to. I feel sorry for Obama having to check in on this rubbish. Yeah. But you know, they're going to want to know what he thinks. You know, they're going to want to know. But please, Diamond Gang, if you are not subscribed, subscribe to the channel, because eventually I will be going horizontal. Right. You said, I want America to lose. Stop messing with people. Brian, this was all about Israel and what they put in his head. You know, at times, I'm not even going to lie, I feel bad for him. I do. Because if that is the case where there is something going on with him, then they took full advantage of him. They took full advantage of him. Let's call a thing a thing. And I feel bad. You know, if that is the case. Netanyahu and Rubio and Kushner and Hegseth, yeah, I do. So he's up there in age. You said exactly, yes, totally. It'd be a big boy gang. Yeah. Always remember, we should pray for country and yeah, oh, yeah, Mike, and safety and military, absolutely, and all other countries. Yeah. You said common sense would tell you why the other presidents didn't fall for the bull. That part, like that blows my mind. Like, he really fell for this shit. Like, oof. What up, Mike? What up, Mike? You said it doesn't sound far-fetched. Yeah, I love that man. Yes, he did. You said Netanyahu played Trump like a fiddle and left him holding the bag. Yeah, I get mad about that. You know what I'm saying? Even though I'm not, you know, a fan of Trump's, he, at the end of the day, he's still an American. And I do feel like Bibi like did him dirty. And for that, I don't like that. You know the saying where people say, I could talk about that person, but you can't. That's how I feel when it comes to Israel. Like, Netanyahu is something else. That's all I'm going to say. I mean, I wanted to say some other things, but I'm not. What's up, James? We was talking about what was going on, a war update, and a bunch of other little things. Just kicking it. Just kicking it. Yeah, we sipping his tea. You said, I don't like Trump. He wants this, but there is many more bad players. Yeah. I don't care for him either. But it's, I got a heart too. I got a heart too. I just feel like it's just bad. Just to be, people hiding stuff from you, people showing you which maybe they're in fear too. Who knows? But it's just, you can't make a sound decision if you have people around you that's advising you that don't know themselves, or either is being manipulative, or just hiding this. It's hard. It's hard. You said, how's defending Trump? I'm not defending him at all. Do I think he was foolish to end up in this war? Yeah, I do. But if there is something going on health-wise with him, mentally with him, this is not good. It's not cool. It's not cool. So, yeah. Pretty soon, I'm going to have to cut the vertical world off. I need to start focusing on my core audience. Once I hit over 4K subs, I got to. And in that way, I will be able to get fan funding and stuff like that. I make a lot of other different content, and I pay for a lot in apps and stuff like that. So, yeah, pretty soon, that's what I'll be doing. It's horizontal. You said, I think you said that one time before. Why is no one talking about the missing soldiers in Morocco, or really talking about the? I know that I started to, but I didn't want to mix it. Like, I think I'm kind of nervous about that Hannah virus, or I'm nervous about that because I feel like it will come here just like COVID. What y'all think about that? I wanted to talk about that virus, but I didn't want to mix it with this live stream. But you're right. You're right. And I seen a story about the missing soldiers too. And I'm not going to lie. I thought they would be found. By the time I went live, I was hoping that they would be. You said you started to touch on that? Yeah. Y'all, please, 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 if you like quick content and you don't like long form, please subscribe to Marie Speaks Real Tea. Please and thank you. She keeps up on what's going on with the war too, along with celebrity gossip. So we're in the same lanes. But yeah, you said keep that over there. I'm hoping it does. But I felt like I wanted to cry when I seen the guy that made the video that was stuck on the ship. Oh, thank you, Sassy. I wanted to cry. Yeah, pray for the missing. What's up, MKJ 2025? What's good? But y'all, I got to get up. Oh, you're welcome. I got to get up off of here. It's 2 a.m., man. Let me see. I've been on here for 3 hours. Yeah, I got to go. It's called the Santa virus. Is on the horizon. I'm not even going to lie. I thought about it today, and I'm like, man, yup, you missed it. We talked about it. He definitely is. Every time he say, yeah, there's a deal, people be like, oh, man, get out of here. Get out of here with that. But yeah, Diamond Gang, please, please, please make sure you subscribe. Keep your notifications on. Shouts out to my new subbies. Welcome, welcome. Shouts out to my subscribers. And shouts out to my beautiful mods. I love y'all. I do. Thank you. Thank you. I am. I'm exhausted, gang. I love you, X. From the first day you came in the chat, you know, I was like, okay. Sassy. My team, my people. Thank you. Yeah, like, share, and subscribe. All right, y'all. You're welcome. No, thank you. Thank for everybody that participated. I love it. All opinions will be respected over here, even if it's opposing to mass, as long as you're not disrespectful. I love when you guys, participate in the chat. I'm so busy reading what's going on in the chat, I can't keep up with what's going on my screen. Yeah. I believe that if Iran ever gains nuclear capabilities, it will make it so Israel will no longer be the dominant force in the region. I agree, but guess what? Doesn't Israel have capabilities? They have it. Oh, you're welcome. Thanks for coming. I appreciate you. So. Mike be cracking me up. I see you, my bodyguard. EJ, I love you too. All right, y'all. I gotta go. Good night. Maybe I'll see you guys tomorrow. It depends if something happens. So I might take a day off. We'll see though. All right, gang. Until the next time, I'm out.
She'll under the trees. Sip with me. I'll pour it hot, so hot. I'll pour it sweet, so sweet. Spilling this tea, spilling and sipping this tea, spilling and sipping this tea. Thanks for watching me, tuning in, subscribing, hitting that like, smash that like. I don't bite, no. It's Yolanda the Great, feeling great, spilling tea. Have a seat and join me. Sip some tea, unwind with me. Let's grab a snack and talk some smack. I'm your girl, I got your back. I got the news, I got the views. I bet you can't wait, I know you can't wait to sip this tea. Sip this tea, spilling this tea, spilling and sipping this tea, spilling and sipping this tea, spilling this tea, spilling and sipping 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 this tea. Thanks for watching me, tuning in, subscribing, hitting that like, smash that like. I don't bite, no. It's Yolanda the Great, shining bright, set the stage. Hollywood dreams, red carpet scenes, glitter and glow, the secrets I know. Drama with flair, I serve it rare. I got the scoop, I got the proof. I know you can't wait, so come and escape and sip this tea. Sip with me, spilling this tea, spilling and sipping this tea, spilling and sipping this tea, spilling 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 this tea.